Sup nerd.
Give me 1 second. I just gotta take care of one thing. Just gotta get the USB, get this phone working, and there we go. We should be all good. Yo, everybody, thank you all for stopping by. Hi, my name is Lampy, small-time illustrator, football-sized moth. I do a lot of drawing streams, occasional gaming streams, and sometimes some live 2D rigging streams. And today is one of those drawing streams. We're going back to the ice cream truck. Why? Because my brain is not functioning today, so I gotta work with what I got. I'm gonna work with something where I don't have to, I ain't got too much pressure to make it, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have to put in so much pressure to give it my 100%, if that makes any sense. It's just a chill drawing. And thank you all for stopping by. Good to see you there, Ryu. Good to see you there, Spock. And Destroyer, thank you for the 21 months. I greatly appreciate it. Let's give a shout out to Destroyer. Also, let's try this one more time because I'm not sure if the text-to-speech... Well, the text-to-speech went off, but the bird wasn't on the screen. So let's try that one more time.
Sup nerd.
There we go. And I hope you're all having a good day. Oh, right. Before I forget, let's give a shout out to Destroyer. Go check them out. If you're a fan of shooters, if you're a fan of the... I was going to say over the top, but that's not the right word. The top-down games, then that's a good place to go. Go check out Destroyer. And how is the weekend, everybody? Hope you all had a good weekend. And always remember, it doesn't matter what people tell you. However you enjoyed your weekend, that's what really matters. So long as you didn't hurt nobody, that's the true thing right there. That didn't make a lick of sense. Let me try that again. Don't let people tell you how to enjoy your weekend. So long as you had fun, and so long as you didn't hurt nobody, that's all that really matters. Whether it was going to a party, going to a club, hanging out with friends, hanging out by yourself, or watching some new episodes of King of the Hill. I just saw one of the more recent episodes. Well, obviously more recent episodes. Hey, you know what I mean. I started seeing more episodes of the new season. Can I talk about this one? I feel like I could talk about this one. How long has King of the Hill been out? Several weeks. I think I could talk about this one. Hank, okay, I'm gonna spoil something in 3. It's a, how do I put it? It's a big thing, but at the same time, it's not really a game-changing of the show because, you know, it's King of the Hill. Nothing's really that game-changing. But with that being said, it's time for spoiler time in 3, 2, 1, and now. Hank liking soccer. I thought I'd never see the day. Hank Hill being a soccer fan. I was waiting for the moment in that episode. I was waiting. I was thinking to myself, he's gonna call it football at one point in this episode, right? Like, I know they've been calling it soccer, but, you know, considering that Hank is a fan of soccer now, he's gonna eventually call it football, right? Right? He didn't call it football that whole episode. I was, not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. I was thinking, like, Hank being an absolute obsessive nerd when it comes to anything that he finds any remote interest in, you know he's gonna go in absolute full depth on this sort of stuff. And for him to not call it football at not once, missed opportunity right there. Also, thank you for redeeming gun. Dude, what the heck? I haven't caught up yet. Sure. I gave y'all ample time. I know it's a joke, but still. Alright, let me see. I'm gonna try to catch up with some things. Also, welcome on in there, Sai. How you be? I hope you're having a good day there, friend. Salutations to you there, too, there. Spock. Not sure the speech had audio. Oh, Not sure the speech had audio on stream. Coincidence over the top was a movie I watched last night. It's a Stallone movie about arm wrestling and family. Really? I'm honestly surprised that they have that. Hold on. I gotta fix something here. We're gonna close Photoshop for a minute, because I know how this always goes. We are gonna go get... We're gonna reset the tablet. We're gonna reset the Wacom, because this happens every time. If I don't turn on the tablet immediately after turning on the computer, then the pen pressure never wants to work. Or the pen pressure doesn't work unless I reset the entire thing. So we're just going to do that right now. That whole thing got reset, so we could close this. We could bring Photoshop back, and now it should work.
Lamp, I'm intense, lamp, I'm intense, lamp, I'm intense, lamp, I'm intense, me when I'm lampy in a lampy stream on a lampy stream day.
Thank you for the 4 months there, Booga. And that's one heck of a message. Welcome on in, how you be? I hope you're having a good day there, buddy. Let's give a shout out to Rabugaki. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend that you do. They play the Elden Rings. They also do a lot of arting. Really fun time over there. And don't let their design fool you. They got an adorable little design, but they could say some really out-of-pocket stuff at any moment. You'll never know what to expect to hear. But overall, really great people. Go check them out when you get the chance. I highly recommend it. Really awesome stream. Also, let me try to catch up right quick. Okay, let's see. Arm wrestling movie called Over the Top. I don't think I've ever seen or even heard about this Stallone movie. Like, is he the main character, or does he only direct the movie? How's it going? So far so good. Wait, did I give a shout out to Silux yet? Let's give a shout out to Sai as well. Go check them out as well. There we go. Let's see, how's it going? I am extremely tired, but I am pushing myself to stream mostly because I need to fix my sleep schedule. I need to get back to the usual where I can actually stream at a proper hour, which I have not done in quite some time. And that's what I'm trying to fix now. I'm trying to fix my mental state on that, so I can get back to doing the usual. Because these last couple of days, I had to skip because my sleep schedule was kind of... if that makes any sense. Alright, let's see. Well, soccer being called soccer was originated in the UK. It's the UK that changed it, calling it football. Oh, wait. And why does everywhere else in Europe call it soccer or football? Wait, if that's the case, why is it only the US that calls it soccer? Wait, is it only the US that calls it soccer? What other places call it soccer other than the US? I do not know. I like how Dale's reaction was believing Hank got replaced because Hank going 180 on soccer. I mean, I honestly don't blame Dale for that one. Like, when you really think about it, you've known this man for years. He has criticized soccer for God knows how long. Called it stuff like a sissy sport or not even a real sport for decades. He leaves, comes back, all of a sudden he loves soccer. That sounds like some spy stuff right there, if you ask me. So I don't blame Dale for thinking they did something to him there. Alright, let me see. I'm good. I fixed the point system in StreamerBot, so I'm feeling pretty smart right now. Wait, what's the point system? Look up Over the Top 1987. Wait, it's an older movie? Not gonna lie, I didn't expect Over the Top to be an old movie. Like, that movie's older than I am. Jesus. That's how you know it's a really old movie. Also, Stumbling, thank you for the stretch and the hydrate. Let's give a shout out to the Stumbling. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend that you do. They play a good variety of games. Really awesome stuff. They were getting back into the Resident Evil all over again. I highly recommend checking them out. Really fun place. All right, let me see. Stallone is a truck driver named Hawk, and his ex-wife is dying in the movie. Her dying wish was that he spend time with his son. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, that she asked him to pick him up from military school. Okay. Not gonna lie, considering that most of the movie, or the plot of the movie has something to do with arm wrestling, as you mentioned earlier, I legit thought that her dying wish was that he win a arm wrestling tournament for her. Like, that's the only thing that she wants in life, is for this man to win at arm wrestling. That would have been a very funny and dumb movie. I would have still watched it. All right, let's see. Fair you Dale sympathizer. I mean, who doesn't sympathize for Dale? His wife has been cheating on him for years. Had been cheating on him for years. She doesn't anymore, as far as anyone knows, but she used to. So I think anybody would be a Dale sympathizer. Let's be honest. Oh, for my gambling command, I wasn't letting people see how many coins they had. Oh, fair. Folks, y'all should go visit Booga's stream. You can gamble there for Twitch purposes, or yeah, for safety purposes. Twitch, this is a joke. There's no actual gambling. It's not real money. Don't go after the Booga. Okay. Now, with that disclaimer out of the way, you can gamble at Booga's stream. I highly recommend checking them out. And welcome on in there, Ivy. Good to see you there, Odd Aussie. Still driving the truck? Or drawing the truck, Coon? Yep, we are still drawing the truck. We got most of the background done. Now we just got to work on the foreground. And for some reason, I'm just messing around in this point, even though... Yeah, even though, honestly, I'm just, what's the word I'm looking for? I should be moving forward on this, but I don't know. I'm just messing around with the bumper for some reason. We'll get a little bit further on ahead eventually. I just don't know when that eventually is, but eventually is the only word I know. Well, I know other words, but that's the only one that's coming to mind at the moment. All right, let's see. I love the work so far on the picture. Did you know there's a character in Pikmin called Dylan? Okay, so I've heard about this. Wait, out of all the names for characters... Okay. I think I remember you bringing them up once. What's with Dylan? He eats Pikmin and laughs. Not gonna lie, that's actually terrifying. Gamba, thanks for the endorsement, Lappy. Yeah, no problem. I always like to shout people out when I can. Speaking of which, folks, go check out Odd Aussie. Very chill streams over there. They may have a whatchamacallit, a koala PNG that looks very feral when they talk, but it's very chill. I highly recommend it. Okay, what's your thoughts on Adult Bobby? Not gonna lie, it was one of their best decisions to fast forward into that, because watching Bobby deal with life, it's been an entertaining, it's been very entertaining watching Bobby just deal with life. I mean, Bobby's has always been a fun character in the series, but as he's gotten older, I don't know what it is, but it just started resonating more. Maybe it's because has to deal with, like, everyday life like the rest of us now. Honestly, Bobby grew up. That's the best way to put it. He grew up with the rest of the world. He grew up with the fan base. A lot of people used to watch that show when they were younger. I know I did. And now that we're older, even though Bobby is still kind of pretty young, kind of young in this show. He's like, what, 21, 22? He's definitely gotten a lot older from the original series, but he's still kind of young when you really think about it. That man still ain't right? I don't know about that one. Like, I know what Hank's trying to say, but I think he came out better than most. Especially when you compare him to his friend Joseph. I think he came out better than most. Especially when you compare him to his business partner Chang, and his dad Ted. Yeah, when you compare him to most of the other characters, I think he came out fairly well. It's like what Cotton Hill said. It's like what Hank's dad said to him. If there was a dad competition, Hank would win. Because as Cotton, and I quote, as Cotton said, and I quote, you'd win. Heck, you made Bobby. All I made was you. So, yeah, in all honesty, looking at the show and looking at the characters and seeing how they all turned out, I think Bobby came out the most normal, in all honesty. Oh, my favorite part was, okay, folks, for any of you who have dyed hair, you're probably not going to like what Hank said in one of these episodes. But it cracked me up, because I never thought about it like that until it was said. So, I forgot what the situation was, but Hank and Peggy were talking, and then all of a sudden the topic of dyed and shaved hair, like different colors like blue and green and red and all of that, they started discussing that, and Hank mentions his gripe with it, and his gripe is he doesn't like people with shaved and dyed hair because they look like fruit. And now I can't unsee that. Every time I see anybody with the shaven, dyed hair, I'm just thinking, that's a mango. That's a kiwi. That's a blueberry of some sort. God, I missed this show. It's been too long. Okay, let's see. I'm drawing silly, messy doodles tonight, trying to ease back into drawing after a long art block. Ah, fair. I don't blame you, and I'm glad to hear that you came back from the art block. Because, yeah, it sucks having art block, because... Apologies there. Brain kind of blocked up right there for a minute. Okay, going back to it. Yeah. Having art block kind of sucks because, in all honesty, you can't really... You have ideas you want to draw, you have ideas that you want to make, but at the same time, you just don't have the mental energy to put them on literal paper. And that part is very unfortunate. That reminds me, I still need to work on that comic book. Or, not the comic. There's a lot of things I need to work on. I'm almost finished with the blobby animation line art specifically. I still need to add the base color and all of that stuff, so we're not quite finished with it, but we're getting there. We're out of the difficult part. When it comes to, well, we're almost out of the difficult part when it comes to Blobby's animation. I still got 2 more live 2D models. Okay, one of them is a live 2D model that needs to be worked on pretty soon. Another one, gonna be a while. So that one, I can't really talk about any of those models yet, but we got some live 2D models in the background. Oh, I do know the perfect model that I'm gonna be making for October. I'm going to be working on it in September, but I'm going to be having that model ready for October. And I'm going to be streaming that one, so if anybody ever wanted to see live 2D streams and how we do things hit there, you'll be able to see that in the next month. I want to say next week or so. Yeah, I want to say next week, because I need it done by October. So, yeah, you'll be able to see that. All right. Also, Dylan doesn't exist. I kind of wish he did, though. Ah, fair. I was wondering, like, wait, Dylan, that doesn't sound like a name like that. All right, fair. Okay, let me see. But I'm glad that you got out of the art block there, Stumbling. That's what matters. Joseph is 100% Dale's kid. Loves his new antics. Okay, so I've mentioned that one last time. I like... How do I put it? So, the thing with Dale and Joseph... We all know... Okay, anyone who's seen the show knows full well that that's not his biological son. But good lord, did he raise that kid. Because when you compare Joseph... Yeah, when you look at Joseph, he may look like John Redcorn, but that man is a goddamn gribble. On the inside, he's a gribble. Snooping, shady tactics, being a weirdo, that sounds like a Dale Gribble right there. And you know what? The fact that... How do I put it? The fact that, you know... What's the word I'm looking for? But before I forget, yo, Metrex, welcome on in. Let's give a shout out to Metrex. Speaking of which, folks, we're going to be playing Elden Ring tomorrow with Metrex. Big boss fight moment coming up real soon. I can't say much about it, and neither should any of you, but because this is Metrex's first time playing the game, so we're just trying to lead them along the way. And I'm also trying to commit dumb stuff in the game without ruining the experience. But for the most part, we're trying to lead Metrex down that road, trying to lead them through this game without, you know, spoon feeding them the whole thing, because I want them to experience this game. I want them to get the experience that I kind of ruined for myself. That's why I ain't telling them nothing except, okay, we have to go in this direction. After that, that's about it. So yeah, go check out Metrex. You're not the only one with... Yeah, you're not the only one that fires guns, Metrex. You're not the only one that can fire back. There we go. Okay. Our inmate's life... Okay, that's a pun, I know it. So I'm leaving that one alone. Typo? Fair. Okay, let's see. Miss my wife Tails? I also miss your wife Tails. Anyway, going back to it. Thank you for the quack there's Ericles, and welcome on in. So, going back to it, talking about Dale and Joseph. I saw those first couple of episodes, and their dynamic... I don't know. There's just something wholesome about them, you know, just hanging out and talking and while snooping in somebody's trash. Yeah, that's right. They were snooping. I think they were snooping in the mayor's trash. Something like that. There was someone that they were trying to hunt down and blackmail with some dirt. So they start... Okay, the funniest part about it, too. They both came to this conclusion and came to this idea separately and wound up in the same spot at the same time. They both had the idea to help their friend beat... Yeah, to help their friend win the competition, which was about beer, they would dig up some dirt on one of the judges. Or the judge. And so they both wound up being in the same spot and just having a good old chat. I'm like, yeah, that's honestly... That's honestly a family goal right there. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, they grew up to be the same person. Well, okay, how do I put it? Yeah, Joseph basically grew up to be just like his dad. An absolute weirdo. Alright, let me catch up with some things. Alright, let me see. All I know is that we're fighting a general called Rangar. Ronald? Or something, I don't know. That's okay, that's all you need to know. There will be... Yeah, don't worry, you'll get a You'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. I actually haven't begun the pun tonight. Oh, that wasn't a pun. Okay. Let's see. Art imitates life. The behavior of John Austin simulates to John Austin his adopted father. Ah, see? Yeah, there you go. Who's John and Sean? I don't know who those two people are. Oh, Lampy, I streamed for the first time on Thursday. Hey, congratulations. Hold up, let's give a shout out to Ivy. We gotta do the shout out thingy. Hold on a minute, where is it? There it is, folks. Go check out Ivy. They do a lot of art. Like, the amount of times I've seen them posting their art somewhere, like, I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they move that fast. Also, Mothman, welcome on in. We gotta give a shout out to the Mothman. Speaking of Elden Ring, go check out Mothman. They play and draw a lot of Elden Ring stuff. They're actually, not even draw, they're painting. That's even more impressive. They've been painting Elden Ring art based off of the screenshots that they get from the game. It's really awesome. I highly recommend checking them out. Let me see. I had a fun Pathfinder session last night. Killed yet another necromancer and got a spooky black crystal thing. Ah, fair. You got some sort of obsidian. John Austin played Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings. Okay, so funny enough, I haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Wait. Samwise. Wait, is that Frodo's friend? I think it might be Frodo's friend. Okay, John Austin and was Gomez Adams in the black and white television. Oh, okay, I understand. Also, welcome on in there, Captain Fresh. I cast Fireball. I too can cast Fireball. Check it out. Hold on a minute. There we go. You know what? I don't cast Fireball. I cast Pocket Full of Lead. Bang. Okay, let's get back to the art and stuff, because I still need to add some shadows here and there. So, actually, not even shadows. Let's get some highlights in there. So, what I want to do... Let's actually head back to this part, because I'm not a fan of how this came out. So, let's try this again. I'm going to go back to the bottom here. Drag all of this across. Also, Tenko Berry, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the Moth Crew. I hope you enjoy your stay. By the way, you're Lampy now. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. Hydrate, good idea. Thank you for the hydrate. So here's what we're going to do. For the art in here, we're going to add that shadow. We're going to get our brush tool at 40% opacity. That should be good. Well, not 40% opacity, because... Actually, yeah, 40% opacity on the layer, but not on the brush. The brush is 100%. We're going to keep it at a 0% sharpness, so it's going to be pretty blurry down here. What we want to do is make a bit of a tornado. I'll show you what I mean. We start pretty wide at the top, narrow it down at the bottom, and continue the same thing on the other end. Start narrow at the bottom, zigzag until it gets wider at the top. Fill that whole part in. And maybe make it a little wider up top here. There we go, close enough. And let's also add that same, or let's continue the tornado up top here. Fill that entire spot in. Like so. And then we get our smudge tool and we put it at 100% opacity, or 100% sharpness. And we keep it at 30% strength on the smudge. Alright, let's see. I will not worry about it. Fantastic. See, folks, you can learn a thing or two from Tenko over here. Don't worry about it when you become a Lampy. Most of the time, people start freaking out and screaming. I don't know why. Who doesn't want to be a bug? I mean... Who doesn't want to be a Lampy? Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, very nice. Good lesson to know. I'm glad to hear that. I try to explain my process because honestly, what's the word I'm looking for? Back in the day when I tried to figure out this sort of stuff, I struggled with it. I struggled with trying to learn the digital art painting process for quite a while because tutorials, considering that there weren't a lot of video tutorials out there, and even then, the ones that I did see, they would just simply say, add highlights, add shadows, add some other color tones, and you should be good. And that was it. Leaving me just completely confused. Like, okay, I understand, add highlights and shadows, but how? What's the process? So, I kind of had that ingrained within me that whenever I talk about this stuff, I try to explain it to the best of my ability. That's why we're using the smudge tool, right? Which, speaking of which, let's pull that back a bit and explain that part with the smudge tool. So, what the smudge tool does, it literally just pulls and drags the pigment that we have on the piece, and it allows us to just move whatever parts, or yeah, move the pigment or the shadows however we see fit. And also, depending on the sharpness and depending on the strength, for example, if we put 10% strength, no pull at all. 30, you see a significant pull, but not too strong. 50, now we're seeing a really strong pull. 70, that is an absurd amount of pull right there, which can be very useful at times. And if we dare go to 100, which is a very rare occasion, it's basically just painting with... yeah, it's essentially just becomes painting. That's what the smudge tool does. When you put it at 100, it just essentially becomes painting. Alright, let's pull this back. Now that we got that answer out of the way, we're going to put the smudge tool and we're going to put it at 0 or 100% sharpness. Because since we're making some sort of metal, that is going to be... we're going to want sharp ends on the edges. Yeah, it's still 100% sharpness. Now, with that being said, since this is a rounded shape, we also want to make sure that our motions with our smudge tool is also a rounded direction. A rounded motion. So we're going to start at somewhere in the center. We're just going to pull outward. Not too far, though, because we don't want to mess up this shadow. So we're going to pull out a little bit. Move it, drag it back in. Drag it back out. Drag it back in. And we never go past... we never go across the tornado all the way across, because sometimes that can mess it up. And we don't want that. So we just drag across from one end with a rounded curve. We stop somewhere in the middle, and then we continue the process. Continue dragging outwards and inwards. And we're going to do the same thing at the bottom. Drag outwards and inwards, like so, to give it that rounded shape. All the way. And also, you want to zigzag up and down, or left to right, while also dragging it across the entire path. So we're technically dragging it downwards as we go along. We're also going to take this middle part and just pull it out a little bit, because sometimes you'll have certain shapes that just don't seem right. And that's okay. Just take your smudge tool and just mess around with it a little bit. Just move, like just pull parts out, push them back in, however you see fit. Just roll with it like that. Also, welcome on in there, Carmi. And don't worry, I'm going to catch up to all the reading in a bit. First, let's give a shout out to Carmi. They also do the arting. They got very creepy designs, and it's pretty awesome. They're currently working on a spider, like a spider live 2D model. So I highly recommend checking them out. Really cool stuff. Alright, let's see. Sam is Frodo's friend, a gardener and defender. Ah, good to know. Okay, so it was that person that I was thinking about. I don't touch my opacity at all. That's fair, that's fair. I will definitely say, using the opacity can definitely be a make or break moment. Let me show you for a good example. Let's make a new layer for this. There's two different ways to mess with the opacity. Let's just start with a little squiggle right there. So if we have our opacity at 100, obviously we'll get the full shape. You know what? Let's also put it at 100% sharpness for this. You get the full 100% shape like so. And we can go to the layer and drop the opacity there if we need be. This way, we could just have an invisible, or, you know, have a see-through layer and use that however we see fit. But let's say you wanted to do some shading and you wanted to add multiple shadows, but using multiple colors becomes very tedious. Like, you have to get a darker shade of green, and then a brighter shade of green, and then a midsection color of green, and all of that. Let's say that gets tiresome. That becomes kind of tedious after a while. Or at least over... Yeah, let's just go with tedious. Let's just say it becomes a struggle to deal with after a while. Well, there is another way you could go about that. Let's say you have a shadow right here, and you have a bright green. And you want to have that bright green as well as that dark shadow. Well, what you gotta do, keep your layer at 100%. Wrong layer, let's bring that back. New layer. We keep that layer at 100%. But we take our brush opacity and we put that one at 30. Because this way, you can get that dark shadow, you can get that dark green. Now, let's say you wanted brighter shades of green. On top of that, you wanted your highlight, you wanted your midsection, and you wanted your shadow. Here's how we're going to do that. Just add one coat for the dark shadow. And if you want to make it brighter, go over it again. And again. And again. Until it gets to that 100% opacity. I mean, it doesn't even have to get to that 100% opacity, but you see what I mean right here. Now, obviously, you're also going to need to get your smudge tool and just blend all of that in afterwards, but there you go. That's one way you could do it. Instead of getting multiple colors, just get one shade. Just get one color. Use a lower shade of opacity. And just go over it multiple times. And that will allow you to get multiple colors. Or multiple shades of the same color. That's the best way to put it. Oh, also, let's zigzag left to right on that as well. Just to get that smooth blending in there. Kind of. Anyway, so that's one way you could use opacity. Now, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, or if it doesn't work for you. You don't have to do that. That's just one method that I've found that adding brush opacities can really help out with. But to each their own, however you see, or, you know, you do the art in the way you see fit. But that's one method that I choose to use. Now, obviously, that was kind of scuffed, so that's not its fullest capacity, but it's still something there. All right, let's try to catch up with some things. All right, let me see. True, that is quite true. Fair, fair, fair. Only started using smudging this year. Ah, fair. How are you liking the smudging? Like, for me personally, smudge tool is like best option imaginable. Like, I can't, or I don't usually do a lot of art without the smudge. I mean, there are ways you could go about it, but for me personally, it's like, I live by the smudge tool now. Also, thank you for the save there, Ryu. That's save right there. And let's catch up with the rest of the reading. Thank you. I do artin' and fartin'. How you doing, Lamp? So far, so good. I have been working on a lot of things. I've gotten some of the... what's the word I'm looking for? I got more of the video editing done. So, we're getting a little bit closer to that. We're getting a little bit closer over there. Which, I'm so close. I'm so close to finishing, you know, cutting all of the... I'm so close to finishing all of the video cutting. There's just a few more tutorials to finish off before I can finally send all of that to the editor and get that work done. I also need to find out how much they're going to charge for future videos, because I don't think this is going to be a one-time thing. I know I'm going to be doing more of these videos, and I'm going to need to get more of their help. So I need to talk to them about more stuff later down the road. Along with that, I think I'm almost finished with... Okay, I'm officially down to 2 more projects. I am officially down to 2 more commissions. Which is that secret commission and the blobby animation. So, I want to say sometime this month I'm going to finally be able to open commissions again. And just put that on the Etsy or whatever. Or, yeah, not the Etsy. Oh, speaking of Etsy, how did I forget? Hold on a minute. I almost forgot about one last thing. Where is it? How did I forget? I've been trying to showcase these things everywhere that I can, and I completely forgot to showcase them here. Hold on a minute. We gotta make the message. Leave that there. Boom, there we go. Yeah, I forgot to mention. So I finally, the Lampy plushies are finally back on the Etsy page. They are finally available for anyone and everyone who wants a giant Lampy plushie. When I say giant, I mean they're literally life-size. They are literally the size of a football. Maybe even a little bigger, I don't know. But yeah, so if there's anyone out there that wants to get Lampy plushies, there's your option right there. Not only that, but tomorrow I'm gonna be setting up goals for the month. If we reach those goals will depend on how many giveaways we do. Because I'm gonna be trying to do a lot of Lampy plushie giveaways. Which means I gotta set up the goals again, and I gotta start calculating things this coming month. That's gonna be awesome. Wish I could buy a Lampy plushie. Shut up, Ryu. Ryu says that every time. Okay, let me see. What am I trying to do again? Oh, right. Let's also go to this part. Let's add a little bit of shadow underneath this part of the van. As well as back here. And maybe a lot back here. Actually, no. I know how I'm going to go about that one. Just going to put a lot of shadow back here as well. That should be good. Oh, let's see. We're really getting down into the details with this project. Good job, man. Oh, thank you there, Carmi. Yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? I tend to overdo it when it comes to these projects. I don't know what it is. Like, literally anything else in life, and I do the bare minimum. When it comes to this project, or not even this project, just art projects in general. Okay, actually, no, I take it back. I only do the bare minimum, or what's the word I'm looking for? I only did the bare minimum in school. Like, the way I looked at it was, I'm not getting paid for this. I just got to deal with school. So long as it passes, that's all that matters. Teachers got mad at me for that one. Like, what? I did the job. The job is there. Yeah, but you didn't try to excel at it. You didn't ask me to excel. You asked me to get it done. There it is. Okay. Now I'm going to go and do something that I actually want to do. Same thing with college. I never excelled at that. I only did what was necessary. I only did the bare minimum. The only time where I tried excelling at anything was personal business. Like, if it's a personal thing, well, not even just personal business, but just personal projects. Like, if it's a project that, if it's a project like a commission or something, I'm gonna put my 110% in that. If it's a personal project that I'm trying to do, I'm also gonna try to put at least 99% of my efforts into it. There might be some times where I get a little lazy on that, but yeah, that's the best way for me to put it. But if it's anything else, if it's just a job and it's not a personal job, it's just whatever job that unless it's a commission, if it's any other job that's not a commission, I'm just gonna look at it like gotcha, just gotta do what needs to be done. Doesn't matter if it's perfect, so long as it's functioning. That's all that matters. Ophelia, I wasn't very academically inclined. I knew if I wanted to, I could do better, but I was focused on the artsy-fartsy. My notebooks and books were filled with sketches. Ah, see? Yeah, there you go. I don't know what it is with being the artsy-fartsy type, but honestly, that's the only thing that, that's the only thing I feel like people that do the artsy stuff, that's the only thing they want to excel at. I mean, you could do other things. I don't know. This is me personally, though. This is me personally, because I don't know if this applies to everybody, but I know this one applies to me personally. Like, unless it's my stuff, I'm just gonna do what needs. I'm just gonna do the bare minimum, and then I'm gonna keep on going. It has to be a me personally thing for me to actually want to go all out. Let's also add some shadow here, so kind of drag a little bit there. Add a little bit here. Since these are not exactly cylinders and they're more like little coins, little discs type of thing, just gonna add the shadows on the edges of said disc / coin thingamabobbers, whatever they are. Same thing with this cube. Just gonna add the shadow underneath that cube. Now this part is where the cylinders are probably going to be, so we're actually just gonna start adding the squiggly lines at the bottom. Add the squiggly little tornadoes. Except since there isn't a wide end on these, we don't actually put a tornado. We just put a squiggle, or a squiggly shape that's mostly even. Like so. We just zigzag left to right, left to right. Get our smudge tool again. Drag that down. Drag again. With a slight curvature. With that. Yeah, we add a slight curvature to the zigzag when it comes to the smudge. Because again, cylinders. Drag left to right, left to right. There we go. Alright, let me see. Thank you for the hydrate there, Destroyer. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, let me see. Did you participate in the art activities back in your student days? Funny enough, kind of. Actually, I don't even know if I participated in art activities. I only just participated in the classes. Like, I participated in the... Yeah, I don't think I participated in any of the activities, just the classes. Although, I did indirectly participate in some activities via... what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I participated in some activities indirectly by working on other people's projects. Like, how do I put it? Some people needed advertising for some events. And since I was in graphic design and I needed to showcase my work somehow, have a portfolio ready, I told them, hey, if you need a flyer or something, I can get that done. Like, no charge, because I need the experience and I need the portfolio. Yeah, I basically just need work for the portfolio. So let me work on this flyer for you here and there. And that helped me out a great deal with having a portfolio for shirt printing, surprisingly, because I never got a graphic design job. The closest I had to a graphic design job was technically an apprenticeship. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? An unofficial apprenticeship. I was basically interning for a old, what's the word I'm looking for? For a printer from back in the day. Someone who used to do the silk screen stuff. For those of you that don't know what silk screen is, it's basically where they do this very special kind of printing where they use these literal silk screens. They put some material on it that... How do they get that material on it? Oh, right. Okay, so if I'm correct... I'm trying to remember how the silk screen stuff went again. So, you make a design... You make every different color for that design, or you just go with 4, depending on how you want to go about it. Depending on the quality that you want for the print. You either go with your CMYK, which is your cyan, your magenta, your yellow, and your black. You go with those 4. If you want a lower quality print, and by lower quality, I don't mean like the quality is bad, it's just that it's not as good. And I'll explain why. You usually use the 4-color printing process for the silk screens when you're trying to do large mass production items that are not really going to be high value, like specialized boxes. Perfect example. Y'all ever seen those cereal boxes? Well, of course you've seen cereal boxes. I'm assuming everybody here has seen a cereal box. Or a Happy Meal from McDonald's. Like those little boxes from McDonald's or something like that. Basically like food boxes that have images and colors and all of that. That's what they usually use a lot of the silkscreen stuff for. Because instead of having a printer jam on you or anything like that, you just put the screen down, you put the ink on top, you just drag that ink across, boom, you got your image. Obviously, there's more to that process, but for the sake of brevity, put the screen down, put the ink, drag it across, boom, you got your image. You do that 3 more times. Now, I mentioned that was the lower quality one because you also have art prints. You have prints from big name artists and stuff. That is when you start putting that is when you start using multiple colors for those big name prints. I'm trying to think of some names that come to mind when it comes to big artsy print kind of stuff. And I can't figure that one out to save my life. I don't remember any of the names. I don't remember any of the big names that this person used to work for back in their heyday. All I know is that in the artsy fartsy field, especially when it came to graffiti art and stuff like that, they used to work with people from big names like that one. I know there's one that has a very big name out there that used to do all sorts of wall art. I can't remember their name to save my life. Oh well, not important. The point is, going back to it, there you go, that's screen printing for you. Number 1 is, yeah, that's screen printing for you. And number 2, I never got a graphic design job to save my life, except for that internship one. Because I mostly just needed the graphic design stuff to, set up the prints for the screens. If that makes any sense. It probably doesn't, but simply put, I needed to work on the images that needed to be burned into the screens that would later print all those images out. If that still doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. I don't know anybody who's trying to learn screen printing here anyhow. So you should be fine. Anyway, going back to it. Yeah, that's outside of that, never really had any reason for doing any other... Outside of that... Oh, that's why I was talking about all of that. That was the main reason why I took up any artistic activities from schools, was to get my portfolio up. And all that portfolio got me was that horrible job at that warehouse. I mean, granted, to be fair, after that, that's when I decided, you know what? It's entrepreneurship time. It's time to go solo. And I want to say the graphic design really helped out a lot better there. Oh, ads start in 10 or 20 seconds. Also, the other thing I want to mention, when it comes to the graphic design, I will say, it's also helped out with streaming. Because whenever you see me set or, post any promotionals about stuff, or, like, for example, if you looked at some of the Etsy... No, not Etsy. The Celebration stream posts, the showcasing posts, all of that done by yours truly, and that is the rare time where I will say, thank God for graphic design. Or thank God that I took those graphic design classes, because without any of that, I would have to figure out who do I go to make these promotionals. Alright, let's see. Lampy, did you know they added Saitama to Fortnite? I did not know that. How is that one going? Like, is he in the game now? Alright, let me try to catch up things right here. Yeah, that's a cool experience. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was a struggle. I will definitely say, in my earlier years, I definitely had to take a lot of jobs that didn't pay very well. And sometimes didn't pay at all. And I always looked at those jobs like, you know what? It's for the experience, but at the same time, it's time for me to move forward. It's time for me to find a different route, because these jobs ain't paying, and I kind of need a job that pays. And then after I got that job that paid, I saved up my money, and I used that to buy materials so I could set up my own business. Like, those times may have been miserable times, but I will definitely tell you, working at that job, it definitely gave a lot of benefits. For one, I was able to, like I said, I was able to buy all the materials to set up my own print shop. I got that stencil machine. I keep forgetting what it's called, but I just call it a stencil machine. The one that cuts out the images. I got that big old printer that prints out at least 11 by 17 inch prints, which unfortunately is broken now, so I can't really use it. And I've been talking about that printer being broken for years. I don't know how to get it repaired. Like, everywhere I go, they just say, oh, we can't help you with that one, but we can sell you a printer. Like, no, I need someone to help me fix this thing. I just need to replace one thing on it, but I don't know how to do it. And every time I try to look into fixing that, all it tells everywhere I go, all I hear is, you're gonna need to send it back to you're gonna need to send it back to the company, like the manufacturing company, and they'll have it fixed for you so long as you still have your warranty. It's been over 5 years. I don't have that warranty anymore. So yeah, I'm kind of out of luck with that printer, unless I can figure it out myself, which I am not very repair savvy. I could dismantle anything with no problem, but if you ask me to put it back together, that's an entirely different story. That's not happening. But yeah, so there's that. Alright, let's see. Or go with primary color zones. Oh, let's see. Or go with primary color zones. Black, many things have high contrast shades. Can specifically print without mixing the pigments on the surface. True. But that's usually when it's more of a two color tone thing, two or three color tone thing. If it's two or three colors, then yeah, chances are they'll probably opt into that instead of the CMYK. But if there's a lot of color tones and they don't want it to be very expensive, boom, immediately CMYK. Also, let's see. Yes and no. Yes, Saitama is in the game, but Saitama is in the game, but to keep it balanced, it is a hologram Saitama. And sometimes glitches in Fortnite, but still hits like a truck. Also, to keep his no-loss record. You know what? Fair. I mean, I honestly wouldn't even be mad if Saitama loses in Fortnite, because let's be honest, they got people like Goku running around with guns, that can potentially be beaten by Eminem. Or what's her name? What's that one lady's name with the big butt? Okay, there's a lot of ladies' names with big butts, but I'm trying to remember. What is her name? She's in Fortnite. Okay, I know that doesn't narrow it down too much, but I think she's the lady with the fake butt. What's her name? Kim? Yeah, wait. Is Kim Kardashian in Fortnite? I think she is. I don't remember. Oh, you know what? Nicki Minaj? Okay, that one, it might be her. I don't know. Anyway, you know what? Let's go with the one that I do know is in Fortnite that I forgot about. So, I wouldn't be too mad if Saitama loses in Fortnite or gets beaten in Fortnite, because again, you also got characters like Omni-Man, Goku, Superman, and they could get shot down by Taylor Swift of all people. So, yeah, I don't see any issue with the continuity, like whether they go with the win-loss ratio or not. They got literal gods losing to Taylor Swift, so it's whatever at this point. I'm okay with it. All right, how goes it, Lampy? Yo, Biscuit, welcome on in. Let's give a shout out to Biscuit VT. So far so good. I'm just ranting on about Fortnite, King of the Hill, work, and what I had to do to get to this point that I'm in right now, where graphic design actually had some use. And let me tell you, the only time graphic design had some good use is when I decided to do my own type of work, do my own type of business. Outside of that, like, I couldn't get work to save my life in that. And I tried. For a whole year, I tried to get a graphic design job. I went everywhere. Interviews. Yeah, I went to multiple interviews, talked to multiple people, went to multiple buildings. Although, now that I think about it in retrospect, actually, you know what? I didn't even tell them that I was in graphic design. I just told them, hey, I'm looking for a job. This is my portfolio. No callbacks, no interviews. Wait, no, that's not true. I got a couple of interviews. You know what? We got to talk about one interview that definitely sucked, is that, okay, I was trying to get a job. I got the interview. I went out there. It was an hour-long drive, and I needed to make it there at 7 in the morning. I made it there at 7 in the morning, no problem. Except for sleep. Sleep was also a problem. But anyway, I made it there at 7 in the morning. Made it to the interview. I showed them my work. I showed them the, my portfolio, all of that stuff. And they said, yeah, everything looks promising here. We're going to call you back soon. We're going to discuss this. And we'll get back to you when we can. Several weeks later, I find out they handed the job, even though they had interviews, even though they were hiring. You know what they did? They gave the job to somebody who is already in the company. And I'm just thinking, if you were going to have those interviews, why didn't you just ask the person, like, hey, do you want to work? Do you want to do this job? If they said no, then do the interview. I don't know, but whatever. There was also another situation where I think I talked to the interviewer. They brought in the owner of the business. They asked a couple of questions, and I believe I answered them pretty well. They even asked a math question. I got that one no problem. Like, boom. They literally asked, what's 12 times 12? I believe it was 144. Yeah, I think it was 144. I could be wrong, though. But anyway, I remember answering that question. I remember answering it correctly. They said, yeah, it should be all good. Yeah, even though the owner of the business said, yeah, everything should be good. We'll just discuss it, or yeah, we'll just, I forgot what he said, but it sounded very promising. And then it turns out that, no, the interviewer, like, not the owner, but the interviewer said, yeah, no, he doesn't have the social skills for it. I'm just looking at, like, well, you can go suck a lemon, too. Granted, I don't know if I actually had the social skills for it, but still, you could go suck a lemon, too. Getting a job is tough, am I right? Okay, let's see. Dismantle is always easy. It's why number 5 got so freaked out about let's see, disassemble dead. Who's number 5? Okay, let's see. I worked in a small graphic design agency. They had good clients like Kraft Cheese, Cadbury, Oreos, etc. That's actually a pretty good lineup right there. Unfortunately, they didn't pay me well at all. Like, barely to last me 2 weeks. Because I had no graphic design background at all. They took me in because of a connection with someone who believed in my art skills and ability to learn. They never increased my salary, though, even when I got good at what I did. And then I left the company. However, I did learn a lot from them. Fair. That is unfortunate. That sucks. And that's actually one of the that's one of the things that really sucks when it comes to work, is that sometimes the job will take advantage of you. They will, try to nickel and dime you any chance they get. And they will try to, just get as much out of you with paying you as little as they possibly can. This is why me personally, whenever the job doesn't pay enough, I'm like, all right, it's time for me to leave. It's time for me to bail. It's time for me to head on out the road. Yo, Lazy Wing, how you beat? Thank you for the raid. Let's give a shout out to Lazy Wing. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend that you do. They do a lot of the streaming. They do a lot of the, they do a lot of the streaming. They do a lot of the gaming. Really cool people. Go check them out when you get the chance. And everybody stopping by from Lazy Wing's stream. Hi, my name is Lampy, small-time illustrator, football-sized moth. I do a lot of drawing streams, occasional gaming streams, and sometimes a live 2D rigging streams. And today is one of those drawing streams. Today we are currently working on the ice cream truck art once again, because my brain is fried, and I just need to get back into the motions of being awake at 7 p.m. So I hope you all enjoy your day. I hope you all enjoy your stay. And if you got to take care of things, go take care of those things. Never feel bad about raiding or running, because that's what raids are all about. But if you decide to stick around, I greatly appreciate that. I hope you enjoy your stay. Also, Minisaurus and Thoughtful Waffle. Thank you for that. I like that name. I thank you for the follows. I greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the Moth Crew. I hope you enjoy your stay. By the way, you're a lamping now. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. All right, let's catch up with some things. And do not worry, we will catch up to the reading up there, because I see Amatron and I see a couple more messages, so do not worry, we will catch up to that soon enough. All right, with that being said, welcome on in there. Yeah, welcome on in there, everybody. Good to see it there. Thoughtful Waffle. Minisaurus? Is that a penguin? Where? Where's the penguin? Hello, new friend. Welcome on in there, Cracked Mask. Lazy Wing, Silly Moon. How's everybody doing? Can I have that sandwich? Yeah, sure, no problem. Let's just nab that. Here you go. This is your sandwich now. Take it with pride. Bite it before it bites you. Because I'll be honest with you, that sandwich has a bit of a kick. So enjoy the sandwich. All right, let's see. Homie's got a gun. Indeed. It also fires. Check it out. Oh, wait. Hold on a minute. It also fires. Check it out. It has been eaten. Fantastic. All right, let me see. Let me see. On your head? Oh, yeah. That's technically not a penguin. Definitely a penguin on the head. Yeah, sure, that's a penguin. Lazy Wing knows about penguins. Lazy Wing, is this a penguin? I am a raven, and the chat enjoys bullying me about being a penguin. You know what? Fair. Understandable. Understandable. Now I see why they're saying it's a penguin. Now I understand. Okay, that's fair. If I'm a Lampy, do I get a free shotgun, or do I need to grab one and write it off on taxes? Oh yeah, no, you get a free shotgun, but it's also better that you steal one too. We need all the shotguns we can get. Alright, let me try to catch up some things over here. Alright, let's see. I can disassemble and reassemble an original PS2, but darn it, did they have to put the memory card ribbon at the very bottom? So if you accidentally pull it out during assembly, you didn't have to take it all the way apart again. Fair. Also, Cracked Mask, thank you for the follow. I greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the Moth Crew. I hope you enjoy your stay. By the way, you're Lampy now. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. Nicki Minaj? Oh yeah, I forgot. Wait, is Nicki Minaj in the game? Nicki is in Fortnite. Pink hair and all. Oh. See, they're putting everybody in Fortnite. Like, I don't know how many more people are in Fortnite. Lurk? Alright, you do your lurking there, Thoughtful Waffle. And I thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the stay. And I hope you enjoy the stream. Alright, let's see. And whatever it is that you're doing, I hope it goes well. What's that lady with the big butt? You have any idea how little that narrows it down? No, Nikki isn't in the game. They're not? And who is? Oh, that's not Fortnite? Yeah, see, that's the confusing part. I don't know what's in Fortnite. Oh, it's in Call of Duty? Oh, fair. Let's see, reminds me of the Fifth Horseman from the Death Journo... Yeah, the Death Journo franchise. Bureaucracy. You know what? Fair. I got kind of lucky, and my boss found me while I was homeless. Wait, how'd they find you? That's an interesting story right there. If it's too personal, I completely understand. You don't have to answer that question if you don't want to, but it's pretty interesting. All right, that does sound like an interesting story. All right, let me see. It has been eaten. Nice. Very tasty. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. Let me see. How'd I stray while explaining? True. I apologize on that one there, Lazy Wing. That's also fair. All right, let's see. Lampy's gonna fly into my eyeball already, I know. Well, I mean, Minosaurus, or Minisaurus, that wasn't the intention, but now that you mention it... Hold on a minute, it's time to fly into somebody's face. All right, hold still. I don't get to use that toggle very often, but I try to find every chance that I get. Yo, welcome on in there, Sherbert. How you be? Let's give a shout out to Sherbert. Yo, I love it. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. That one, I've mentioned that one before. That, what's the word I'm looking for? I wasn't a fan of the lean toggle that I've seen a lot of other people doing, mostly because it feels too personal, too close back up. But then I thought about it and realized, wait a minute, I got a dumb idea. I think I just got inspired by I got inspired by a toggle that made me realize I could do something really dumb with this. But yeah, folks, go check out Sherbert. They also do art. They also play a good variety of games. It's a very chill time over there, and they're also pretty funny. I highly recommend checking out the Sherbert when you get the chance. Now, diving for cover? Yeah, see, there you go. Oh, I'm diving for cover? You know what? Also fair, understandable. Also, Suba Phoenix, welcome on in. How you be? Is it Suba or Suba? You let me know. How you be? I hope you're having a good day there, friend. That's not a face? What's that supposed to mean? Anyway. Lampy doing the Dead Space 2 sequence to chat. Oh, that Dead Space 2 sequence. Yeah. I want to eat that bug. Why? Why are you all trying to eat bugs? Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. A bit too personal and details might dox me, so maybe one day. Honestly, fair. That is fair and understandable. But now you have to tell the story. No, I'm kidding. I completely understand. You don't have to answer that question. I thank you for letting me know. And I'm going to drop it there. But with that being said, I am glad that you got fortunate enough to get that job when you did. Oh, right. I got to put this back to 100% opacity because what we're trying to do here, a little more shadow underneath this here mirror. Go along from there. All right, let's see. A roast him for you? You can try. This ain't gonna be easy for you. All right, now let's get back to the drawing at hand. What we need to do is just continue adding the shadows because, okay, so considering, well, actually, considering the lighting here. So the lighting is from the front and to the left. But considering the angle of the truck, I think we might actually get some shadows more on this end. Maybe. We're actually going to put some shadows on the right here. On the right and at the bottom. Maybe even some of it at the left too, because... maybe just a thin veil, a thin outline on the left. Something like that. But even then, it doesn't feel right. So we'll get rid of that side. Let's also get our smudge tool. Blend that a little. We'll blend that in a little bit. There we go. Something along those lines. Move around there. Move around there. Get some more blending over here. All right. I'm super close to being finished with the art. Just rendering left. Ah, fair. Wait, is that the art that I'm thinking of there, Sherbert? Because I know you sent me a message earlier about that plushie art. Which is coming along really well. I can't wait to see the finished piece, because that looks pretty awesome. Okay. You said it right the first time. Ah, good to know, good to know. Thank you there, Super Phoenix. Thank you for letting me know. Alright, let's see. If you were able to make one of your 2D rigs into a plush, which one would it be and for what reason? I mean, I kind of already did. If I had to pick, it's definitely being Lampy. But since we already have that one done, I guess I got to pick another one. Which other one would I pick if that's the case? That's the real question now. Oh, speaking of which, folks, it's time to do the shameless promotion again. If you look at the message up top, speaking of which, we actually have Lampy plushies. Hold on a minute. Anyway, okay, so I got the keyboard working again. Anyway, so we got Lampy plushies. Life-size Lampy plushies, so if you want a Lampy plush of your very own, they're available on the Etsy page right over there. Link is in the pinned comment. No pressure, though. But I just wanted to bring that up because, yeah, I mentioned how I was going to put them back up on the Etsy page last Sunday. And there they are. They're finally back. They're ready. They're back in action. And they also have their own guns. So if you wanted a plushie that has its own plushie gun, go check out the Lampy plush. Alright, let's catch up some things. And also, welcome on in there, Mac. How you be? I hope you're having a good day there, friend. What sick being... oh, let's see. What sick being would want to eat bugs? Puts buffalo sauce on Lampy's wings. Get away. Get away. Back up with that barbecue sauce. Put it on yourself. Because we're cooking Peking duck over here. Alright, let's see. The wings are thin, scaly membrane, not the best for buffalo. You should have boiled them boiled them for quite a while. The main body, though. Stop trying to eat Lampy. Buffalo is too strong of a flavor for Lampy. You need something less overpowering. We don't need anything. Stop trying to eat the bug. Okay, let's see. Less plushy art. Oh, the plushy art is what I'm talking about, yeah. Ah, fair. I can't wait to see the rendering. That's gonna look awesome. Also, funny, let's see. Also, funny, I'm appreciating the art more after grinding towards arting stuff. Granted, so far, I'm just drawing cups and cubes. You know what? We all start somewhere. And that's what matters. So, you keep on going there. Yeah, you keep on going there, Biscuit. You got this, I believe. And I've been seeing the progress. It's coming along pretty well. I think I saw some of the cup progress along the way. It was either on the Blue Skies or it was on the Twitters, but I know I've been seeing the cup progress. Etsy? Yeah, see, there you go. Thank you there, Sherpa. I would make Lampy and Lazy plushies kiss. Why? Wait, Lazy, you have a plushie? Honestly, I feel like a logical move to answer my own question would be to make a plushie of the bird. Oh yeah, that's also another option. To be fair, I'm thinking of making that the next option of plushie, if we get enough funding for it, is make a bird plushie. The only thing is, I don't know how many people would want the bird as a plushie. I know a few people would, but I don't know if we have enough people that want the bird as a plushie. That's the only difficult one. Lampy, do you also sell in conventions and such? I don't, but that's mostly because I don't know how to do so. I used to sell... Okay, actually, funny enough, I used to sell at conventions when I had the shirt printing job, but that was less of setting up... What's the word I'm looking for? I never did so officially. I never got myself an actual booth. I never registered or paid for a booth. It was mostly just through people that found me online and said, hey, do you want to set up a table? We got a whole event going on here. You want to set up that table? I was like, what's the catch? And they're like, no catch. We just need activity going on in this room. So if you want to participate in the activities in the room, yeah, just bring whatever you got, bring your merch, and just set up shop. I was like, you know what? If all I gotta do is just set up shop and that's it, no cost, no cut, then yeah, sure, why not? It's an absolute win. Why wouldn't I? But outside of that, I've never actually done, I've never actually registered for an actual table before. But I would say, depending on the situation, it sounds like a pretty good idea to do. If you know how to do it, I would definitely say give it a shot. Also, if you know that you're going to sell. Like, how do I put it? There's a chance that things might not sell, so you might want to start... Just like anything else, you might want to start small. Work your way up. Get the experience before getting the sales, but still try to get the sales in the first run still nonetheless, because obviously if you're working on, if you're trying to set up a booth and all of that, you want to make sure that you at least get something out of it. I think. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Leet. What's leet? Let's see. Also, when did the chat suddenly become Timon and Pumbaa? That's my guess. That's my question too. Oh, was limited run, but I'm a frown on this application. Wait, frown on what application? Also, yeah. Yo, congratulations. I didn't know you had a plushie. That's pretty awesome. However, your audience seems to be very cursed when it comes to that. Does Lampy have a probiotics? Oh, a proboscis. Looking up what proboscis is. No. I just realized what a proboscis is. It's a very large round nose. No, Lampy does not have a very large round nose. Okay, let me see. I am a plush collector, so when I can afford a unique plushie, I go for it. Ah, that's fair, that's fair. Understandable. Or Inva body pillow. Nah. Because I know I would have to draw that, and I wouldn't be able to draw that to save my life. Moth or mouth tube thing. Mouth tube thing. Closest we got is this. Hold on a minute. Closest we got is this. More of a lid. More of a lid than anything else. All right, let's get back to the drawing at hand. Let's drag the shadows. I'm going to put them on the right side over here because of perspective. Have it drag across like so. But since we're not putting any shadows at the top of that, I'm actually going to erase a little bit here. Boom, just like so. You can commission someone to draw Inva body pillow. Nah, it's fine. Nah, it's fine. We don't need that. I know Ryu's joking anyway, but even then, nah, we don't need that. Chances are, I would probably make it more comedic than anything else somehow. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, it could probably be done, but knowing how this channel is and knowing how things are here, I'd probably try to convince them, like, make it more comedic than anything else. Who said I was joking? So as I was saying, Ryu was joking. All right, let's see. Well, that means jaw muscles through, let's see. That means jaw muscles tough and thin, marinate and cook. Okay, we're done with this cooking conversation. Larva shouldn't be on, oh, let's see. Larva shouldn't be on a body pillow. They do not, oh, they are not mature, so TOS risk. No, not larva. The bird is what they were talking about. Okay, I hate that because of the way Lampy's anatomy works. You could cosplay a trash can as one. I mean, we can. Okay, so there is a possibility, like, you know what? We could just make Lampy trash bins. Just make 3D prints. Just hollow out the inside. And then you just lift the lid and then boom, trash can. That would just mean that you're throwing garbage into Lampy's mouth, though. You know what? Scratch the idea about Lampy trash lids. We don't need Lampy trash lids. Or we don't need Lampy trash cans. We'll come up with a different plan. All right, let's zoom in. Let's remove some of that shadow. You know, the most difficult part about doing big drawings like this is that focusing is a very difficult... What's the word I'm looking for? Focusing, it makes it very difficult to... Okay, let me try that sentence again. So, also, thank you for the posture check and the hydrate. So, since there's so many things on this image, it becomes very difficult to focus on specific parts. So I'm just constantly drawing wherever and never really finishing any of it. Like, I was working down here for a little bit and then I stopped and then I started working over here on the ice cream truck itself. and then I stopped, and then I started working on the lampy. Yeah, the lampy that's driving the car, and chances are I'm not going to finish that one. Although now that I've mentioned it, I really should try to finish that one. Well, now I want one? Well, too bad. Okay, you know what? Maybe. I'll consider the lampy trash can. Lampy lamp? You know what? I wouldn't mind making a lampy lamp. Just have the eyes glow, just have the eyes light up, just boom. Maybe even give it a red toggle on the... Okay, that's asking for too much. I know I'm not going to be able to get the lighting to work like that. Well, maybe. Maybe. I know there's some sort of way to do that. I feel ya, focusing hard. Focusing is hard. Also, I forgot to drink. You can do a single parameter print trash can. Oh, Primeter. Print trash can. Can there be models of... Oh. Let me see. Can there be models for them on Thingiverse? What's Thingiverse? Why can't I unlock fire emote with the redeems? It's unfortunately because the fire emote is an animated emote. In order for you to get the... In order for you to redeem emotes, they have to be the stand... What's the word I'm looking for? They can only be the... They can only be the standard emotes. So you can't unlock animated emotes. Trust me, if I could, I would. I don't think it works like that. But if turns out that it can be like that, might be made for 50,000K? Yes, because I hate that redeem. And they've reached the goal to make it that high. Give it to me? No. But if I could, what's it called? If I could put animated emotes, I would, but I don't know how. The only way you could get an animated emote is either you sub or you get a gift sub or something like that. That's the only way, unfortunately. Don't blame me, blame Twitch. Alright, let me see. Slow Flutter, thank you for redeeming Slow Flutter there, Carmi. I greatly appreciate that. Okay, let me see. Thingiverse is a 3D model sharing site for people into 3D printing. Oh, fair. I will get 50K versus Twitch. Yeah, blame Twitch. And also, we don't need to get 50K for that. We could leave that alone. We don't need that. He will do it. My cousin is a menace. Well, now I'm even more worried. All right, so, Lazy Wing, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take these people out of here so they don't redeem that redeem. Like, you have any idea how many times that redeem's gotten redeemed ever since I've reduced the... Ever since I started reducing the... Not started reducing, but ever since I reduced it down to 10K, they just started redeeming that every stream. Although I have been upping it by 10K every time they redeem it. So... That's why it's that high up. Let's see. Ryu, you suck. You know what? Before we switch to the made PNG, I'm doing this just for the heck of it. I'm having the bird steal Ryu's card. If I gotta suffer, you do too. Thank you for redeeming gun. I can't really put a gun right now. We're kind of stuck in the... We're kind of stuck in this PNG. Which reminds me, give me 1 second. I gotta up the points on that. Now it's gonna be 60K. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had fun with that. Creator channel. Let's see. Where did I put those? None of that. I don't want to see any of this stuff. Where is it? Ah, channel point rewards. We got to go over here. So I don't forget, we're upping this by another 10. And this has to be... I'm got to be stuck in this redeem for the next 30 minutes. There we go. And save. So I hope you enjoy, you degenerates. Pumpkin time? Thank you for redeeming the pumpkin. I will... You know what? We're going to add that right now, I suppose. And we also got to add the rat. How many things do I got to add? Okay, so I got to add the gun. I got to add the pumpkin. And I got to add the rat. Okay. So yeah, you won't be able to see this until 30 minutes from now, but we're going to add the pumpkin. And we're going to add the rat. So, pumpkin. Just going to toss that sucker right over there, even though you can't see him yet. And then we're just going to add the rat. And then we're going to get back to the drawing eventually. Add that rat model. Toss him right over there. And there we go. Thank you for putting the giant emote there, Jira. I greatly appreciate that. Let's also give a shout out to Jira. Go check out Shadow Jiro. Really fun people over there. Really awesome streams. Really chill times. Yes, but we are your degenerates. Unfortunately. This is the best mate ever. Thanks, I hate it. Birds are like that? Yeah, birds do be like that. They see a shiny, they steal shiny. Let's see. Oops, who did that? Shut up. Totally worth it. And whatever. Alright, let me see. So we got the pumpkin, we got that. Lampy, soon I'm gonna be like you. Screen full of models and assets. That's what's up. That's the dream right there. You got this, Carmi, I believe. Can't wait. Rat? Yeah, okay, so, before anything else, hold on a minute. So, this is going to be all the models that you're going to see on the screen as soon as everything's done. But for the meantime, this model's got to be up here for the next 30 minutes. So, I hope you enjoy that one. Now, let's get back to the drawing the tan, because I needed to take care of things. One, let's get that shadow underneath this arm. Actually, you know what? We're going to go back to this one here. Going to get back to this shadow. We're going to erase that one. Because what I also wanted was a reflected light underneath that arm. And how do we get that reflected light? Here's how we do it. What we got to do is just add... Basically, what we got to do is just get the shadow and put it just above the bottom edge. If that makes any sense. Instead of going completely across like so to shroud that arm in shadow, we leave a little bit of space between the shadow itself and the bottom of the arm. This way we have a reflected light. And what a reflected light is, how do I put it? Whenever you have an object and you have a light source hitting said object, chances are there's going to be light that hits around the object instead of hitting exactly on it. And that will hit something behind it or below it. And that will also bounce light off of the object that it's hitting, thus reflecting back on the back of said... Reflecting on the back of said object. I need to draw that one to explain that one a little bit here. Hold on a minute. New layer. Because I always like to give a little example of what I'm talking about here. So we're going to have a little ball right here. This little ball right here. And this is going to be the light source. Now that light source is going to be hitting in a general direction. That little ray is when it hits the actual object. And so, that would usually mean that the light is primarily hitting this spot. However, since there's a floor underneath that object, and maybe there's also a wall, depending on the situation, it's going to be hitting the floor, or the rest of the light will hit that floor, or maybe even hit that wall. When it does, it is going to bounce the light will bounce off of said object. Now, it's not going to be as strong because instead of being the direct light source, it's more of a indirect lighting from the actual light bouncing off of another object. So because of that, instead of making it absolutely bright, it's going to have a weaker sense of light in the back, if that makes any sense. That's why you have your main light source with a lot of lighting up top, and then you have your secondary light source, which isn't going to be as strong. That's how reflected light works. I hope that made sense. Yo, Kiko, thank you for the raid. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for the 26 months. Bothered. Ew, it's a lampy? Ew, it's a storm. Everybody stopping by from Kiko's stream. Hi, my name is Lampy, small-time illustrator, football-sized moth. I do a lot of drawing streams, occasional gaming streams, and sometimes a live 2D rigging streams. And today is one of those drawing streams. We are currently working on ice cream truck art. I highly recommend checking it out. Or, wait, no, wrong words. Also, let's give a shout out to Kiko Lunar Bunny. Go check out the Lunar Bunny. If you're a fan of Fortnite, this is a good place to go. They play a good variety of games, really awesome streams, really high energy. They got all sorts of energy. You wouldn't believe the energy they got over there. And I hope you all enjoy your day. I hope you all enjoy your stay. And if you got to take care of things, go take care of those things. Never feel bad about raiding and running, because that's what raids are all about. But if you decide to stick around, I greatly appreciate that. I hope you enjoy your stay. Okay. Now, let me see. Let's go check out some stuff right here. Welcome on in there, Gundam. Welcome on in there, Dark Leo, JP, Little Baka, how ya be? And again, thank you again for the 26 months there, Kiko. I hope things be well. How was the Fortnite? I hope it went good. All right, let me see. Lampy, where's the child support? Yeah, about that. It's, anyway, goodbye. Good to see it there, Hikaru, Bounty Hunter, JP. Hope everybody's doing well. All right, let's see. We hit 100 crowns. Yo, congratulations on the 100 crowns. That's what's up. Honestly, kudos to you for that one. Like, because I don't know how you do it. The last few times I played that game, I couldn't figure it out to save my life. So the fact that you're not only playing that game and just absolutely just demolishing in it, that's an accomplishment right there. Not gonna lie. That's a big accomplishment right there. All right, we're going to get back to the arting right here. We're going to delete that layer because we don't need it no more, and we're going to try to add the rest of the shadows. Let me see. Where do I want to begin with the shadow? There we go, right there. Right behind the bumper a little bit. Although, considering the lighting and the direction, let's bring that shadow a little bit lower, a little bit further under the bumper. Right here should be good. This is a solid spot. All right, let me catch up with something. All right. Come back with the milk? Make me. Let me see. Lampy, are you under the skirt or are you the skirt? Wait. That is a good question. That is a very good question. So, how do I put this? I think that's the best way to answer that question. I got stuck in this thing. They requested they requested a Lampy made. I gave them a monkey's palm type, or yeah, monkey's palm type of thing. And yeah, that's the best way for me to put it. Did I answer your question? Lampy's down here. I just realized I could just make that joke like, hey, guy's down here. All right, let's see. I got like 3 crowns, mainly because I broke my old phone and I only really play it with others. That's also fair. That's also fair. I don't play it very often, so I think I only got like 1 crown, and that's because I joined one of Kiko's streams once. Outside of that, yeah, that's about it. Also, that should tell you how good of a that should also tell you how good Kiko is at this game of Fortnite, that they were able to get that win, get that crown with someone like me on their team. That's how you know they can carry. Because all I remember was, don't get shot, problem solved. Oh yeah, that also reminds me. I also got to start whatchamacallit. I also got to start posting some of that other art, because I want to say in a few weeks I'll be able to post one of the live 2D models. Because, what's the word I'm looking for? There's one live 2D model that I can't showcase until Hollow Knight comes out. But once that comes out, I'll finally be able to showcase that one. Along with that, there's a dragon PNG that I can finally show off, because I think they had their model reveal. Actually, no, I think they had their model reveal. I don't know if I actually showcased the entire dragon before. No, I already did that on stream. I don't have to do that again, but I need to drop that one on the socials later this week. Or, yeah, this coming week. Words suck. Okay, going back to the drawn to tan. Let's add all of this here. Do I want to add all these shadows? Okay. I know I shouldn't be adding all these shadows to each of these little things, but we're unfortunately going to do this. Also, welcome on in there, Mr. Bean. How you be? I hope you're having a good day there, buddy. I think I got drowned out, but when did you swap over? Let's see. But when you swap over, you're going to need to add the pig. Oh, yeah. Do not worry. I remember the pig. But yeah, we're gonna be stuck here for at least another 17 minutes. So it's gonna be a bit of a while. It's gonna be a bit of a minute. But when we get there, I'll add the pig. Just remind me to add... Oh, although I will say, to be fair, you might also need to remind me when the timer is up. In about 17 minutes, I may need a reminder to add the pig. It also shows that I have not been talking for... Or, what's the word I'm looking for? It also shows that I have not gotten used to talking for quite a while again. Because I haven't streamed for over a week. And it's only been 2 hours, and already, like, talking has been a struggle for me today. Yeah, we're going to keep adding this shadows. This is going to be the most tedious part that is almost 100% absolutely unnecessary, but here we are. We're going to do it anyway. Part of me is dying on the inside just doing this. We might get a little lazy on it, though. Maybe. Although I think I know a way how we could get around all of this problem, too. We just need to go through the first 2 halves. The first 2 rows are the only ones that we really need to perfect. Or that we really need to work on. After that, we're going to do a little bit of cheating. But yeah, we're just adding some depth to the grill. I want to say it's a grill. Basically the thing that's in front of the car that lets the radiator vent. Yo, game, welcome on in. Let's give you a shout out. Folks, go check out the game. Really awesome people. They play a good variety of games. Really awesome folks over there. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend that you do. And I hope you're having a good weekend there, game. There we go. Also, fair warning there, folks, I am extremely tired, so I may not be able to think very well today. But I will try. It's been good. How have you been? I have been tired. I have been working like crazy. But it's been good. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Business has been booming more than I had anticipated, more than I have been preparing for. But yeah, it's been booming pretty well. So, it's been a pretty good run. I also heard that there's potential work later down the road when things aren't so busy, which means as soon as things clear up and everything is like calm and easier to manage, that's when it's going to ramp right back up. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. We don't need this section. Let's take the lasso tool, drag all of this right over here, delete all of that because we don't need it. Let's get our brush, add some shine to this sucker. Just a bit of shine, not too much, but a bit of shine right around there. Gotta do the same thing over here. So yeah, it's gonna be a busy, God knows how long. All I know is that it's gonna be busy, but a good kind of busy. Like I said, I'd rather get overwhelmed with work than to have no work at all. Because if I didn't have any work, that would mean I'd be struggling with rent. You know, it's a problem when you feel like you make more V-Bucks than money. That's a big mood right there. See, what you gotta do, not spend your real money on V-Bucks. And then you should be good, I think. Seems about right. Fair, fair, fair. Okay, so that was two different messages from two different people. But yeah. Work do be overwhelming. This is why I'm not able to interact with a lot of folks most of the time. Unless it's Night Rain. If it's Elden Ring Night Rain, then I'm going to try to figure out a way. I will find a way to interact, mostly by hopping into the game like game time. And even then, that may not always work. Because I know some folks that tell me, like, all you got to do is just message and... yeah, just message. And then, boom, Night Rain time. I'm like, that's what's up. Except I don't know how to hop into Night Rain. Alright, let's see. Let's see. I make at least 80 V-Bucks a day. Ah, fair, fair, fair. I wish it were that easy to make money. I wish I could just make 80 bucks a day, no problem. That is honestly a mood right there. Like, imagine just 80 bucks a day for like... well, okay, I'm pretty sure there are some jobs out there that give you like 80 bucks a day. And maybe 80 bucks a day isn't even as big of a deal as I think it is. But I personally wouldn't mind 80 bucks a day. Like, think about it. 80 bucks a day, that would be $5, or yeah, that would be like 80 times 5, that would be like 400 bucks a week. Unless you wanted to count all 7 days, then, you know, that's like what? Let me see. 8 times 7. What is 8 times 7? That's like what, 42? No. That can't be right. Because 5 times 7, or 5 times 8 would be 40. So then you just add 2 more. It would be 56. So yeah, like 80 bucks for all 7 days, that would be 560 right there. Imagine making 80 bucks a day. Even if it's only like 5 days a week, imagine making 80 bucks a day. Getting like 400 bucks every week. Okay, actually, now that I think about it, it's not as much as I thought it would be. Like, what? 400 bucks a week? That's like 16 bucks, or yeah, 1600 a month? It's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be. But how am I supposed to surprise gift you with Fortnite? By not surprise gifting me. Save your money. Because I got the Founders Pack when it came out. Ah, fair, 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 fair. These are words that I do not know. Also, ad start in a minute. Okay, let me see. What else was I trying to do again? I don't quite remember. Right, I was trying to add the highlights to these little thingamabobbers here. Adding the highlights to these little rims. These little vents. I'm gonna call them vents because I don't know the exact proper term for this. 80 V-Bucks translated into real currency would be 80 cents. Oh. Not gonna lie, that kind of sucks. Ad start in 20 seconds. Good luck, folks. It's only like 80 cents? Really? I thought it would have at least been like $5 or something. I guess not. Okay. We're almost done with this, and then I could show how we're going to cheat this a little bit. Just got to finish off the last. These little vents, just add them highlights at the top and at the left. Then we will be all good. Just a few more to go. How many more do we got left? Literally 2 more left, and then we'll be good. Okay, so let's finish that off. Let's wrap this up. And by wrap this up, I mean just adding those highlights. There we go. Now we got a slight, let's see, slight bezel effect going on. Bevel effect? Bezel? Bevel? I think it's bevel. Anyway, let's take this part. We're going to copy this. Actually, no, not even that. We're not even going to copy. We're just going to get our selection tool. We're going to get our move tool. We're just going to drag this down while holding the shift key. So this gives us a copied layer. Drag that down. Do the same thing again. Move it while holding the shift key. Or not the shift key, the alt key. Drag that down there. That should be good. Do it again. We just repeat the process until we get to all of them down there below. Right here should be good. Okay, let's drag further down. Almost there. Move it a little more to the right. And then last batch. Right over here. That should be good. Then we deselect and boom. We got all the effects while only making 2 rows. Because, good lord, imagine if we had to do what I just did. Adding the shadow and the highlight for each and every one of these. This would have been just a mess. Alright, let me see. Can you ease up on the caps lock? Okay, so okay, so I will say this about the caps lock. That part should be oh no, I need to think about that one. Because I know I don't pay it too much, I don't pay it too much mind on that one, mostly because when it comes to folks coming from Kiko's stream, they put caps locks in their streams all the time, so I don't pay it too much mind. So long as everybody doesn't start doing caps locks over here, because then I'm not going to be able to keep up with any of the reading. Alright, there we go. Let's see. 1,000 V-Bucks cost $8 USD. Really? Not gonna lie, that's not really a lot there. Fair. Understandable then. Looking good? Yo! I'm glad that you like it there. Yeah, I'm glad that you like this thing there, game. All right, let's get our highlight, because what I also need to do is also add a highlight at the top of up here. We're just going to add an outline, a bright enough outline. It's not very visible up top there, but it should be visible enough. Also, my eyes may be blurring a bit, so I may not be able to stay on as I normally like to. It was just 4 messages in a row? Oh, fair, fair, fair. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Okay, I could see that. That's fair. Again, like I said, it might be a tough habit to, kind of break, because they tend to do that a lot in Kiko's streams. So I don't blame them for that. Or, I don't blame anybody for that. Like, when you come from one person's stream and you're used to that type of behavior, it's kind of difficult to phase that one out a bit. Although I will say, when it comes to certain behaviors, or when it comes to certain streams, it's always good to read the room as well. Because, folks, a fair bit of advice. Where one behavior is acceptable in one stream doesn't mean it will be acceptable in every stream. Where if we, where some places they, what's the word I'm looking for? Because there will be some streams where it's easily acceptable to just bully the streamer into the ground, or yes, bully the streamer into the ground. Once you move on to another stream, that might not be the same case. How do I know this? I may or may not have learned that lesson the hard way when I first started watching streams as well. Yeah. Anyway. So, always best to read the room. Don't be like Lampy. Read the room when you can. Alright, let me see. So, the next step that we gotta do, let's add some highlights to the top of the... What is this thing called? Sleep time? Soon. I gotta stay up for at least one, maybe... I want to try to stay up for at least one more hour. Like, I'm probably gonna call it at 10, maybe 10:30. Because I will say, I mean, if I can't really see very well and my eyes feel heavy, then it's going to be very difficult to draw. But I do want to get as much work as I possibly can done. Or I do want to get as much work done as I possibly can. I'm going to try to stay up for as long as possible. Because again, I also got to get back, also got to get used to the schedule again. Lampy has the final say, as we will comply. Fair. Sadly, I've been on the internet for almost 30 years now, and it doesn't get any easier. Or at least that's what I'm assuming. All I know is that I remember being on the... Actually... I'm wondering, has it gotten easier while being on the internet? I mean, kind of. On one hand, it has gotten easier in certain aspects, like, working. The internet has made working a whole lot easier. But at the same time, there's a lot of words that you just cannot get away with saying anymore, and that just seems weird, because... How do I put it? It just seems weird to think about all the words that should have been fine to say, but nowadays you can't even say the word on YouTube without getting in major trouble. Like, it's the funniest part? I was thinking about this one recently, too. Any of y'all ever seen the movie Demolition Man? Since Spock actually brought up a Sylvester Stallone movie, I think it's my turn to bring up a Sylvester Stallone movie. There's a movie called Demolition Man where a guy in the 80s, maybe early 90s, I want to say late 80s to early 90s, ends up overdoing it on a raid where he ends up blowing up an entire building just to get to one criminal. And he gets to that one criminal, but, you know, a lot of lives were lost, a lot of damage was done. And because of that, they freeze it as punishment. They sentence him to being cryogenically frozen until they need him again. And so many, many years later, they go into this whole thing of, what's the word I'm looking for? So many years later, when society has changed significantly, I forgot what the situation was. Oh, I remember. They let that one serial killer get out, or they unfroze the serial killer, and I think they were supposed to execute him. I don't exactly remember, but since they were incompetent in the future, he easily got out. He found his way out. He broke out of prison because nobody has guns anymore. So they got out and they realized, we can't handle him. We need someone who can think like him, who can act like him, who knows how things worked in his time. So they find Sylvester Stallone's character. I forgot what his name was. They defrost him and they ask him, we need your help, because we're a bunch of pansies and we don't know how things work. Now, the reason why I bring up all of this is because, one, in that movie, nobody had guns. Nobody could legally be violent. I mean, granted, you still can't be legally violent now, but it was in a really crazy time where they couldn't even say certain words. Like, they would get fined for cursing. That's how bad it got over there. And whenever they talked about someone being, you know, murdered, instead of saying, yeah, this person got killed or they got, like, offed or anything like that, they would call it a murder, death, kill. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because the funniest part about all of this is that the phrase murder, death, kill would probably get your videos or any of that sort of stuff. It would get you in trouble if you did videos or made streams or stuff like that.
Hello, hope you are doing well, Mr. Lampy. I will be a Leo Lorky Lou as I'm very exhausted.
Honestly, fair and same. Thank you for the 15 months or 27 months there, Mr. Chips. I greatly appreciate it. You go get that rest, you go get that sleep, and I thank you for stopping by. I thank you again. You do your lurking, and I hope it goes well, and I hope you have a good day, a better tomorrow, and a great week. Lampy made over yet? Let me check. 34 minutes. Yep, we're done. We're out. It's time to go away. I'm free. I'm finally free. Also, folks, if you like the pumpkin and the rat that you see there, you could find them available at a very, very affordable price on the Etsy page and the vgen page. If I'm correct, the pumpkin and the rat are like, what, 10 bucks? So yeah, if you ever wanted a pumpkin, especially since Halloween is coming up real quick, or real soon, pick up a pumpkin or a rat model for your streams, or video editing, any of that sort of stuff. Feel free to pick one up at your leisure. No pressure, though. Also, if you wanted to find the Etsy or the VGen, just put exclamation point ETSY or exclamation point VEGN. No, VGEN. Yeah, there you go. And you'll be able to find those over there. Thank you there, Sherbert. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, going back to it, the fact that murder, death, kill is something that can't even be said on the internet nowadays. That's how you know we've gone beyond Demolition Man. In all the worst ways possible. Can't say nothing online them. Anyway. I mean, granted, there are some things that are probably best unsaid online, but there are still so many things where it's like, really? This? You can't say this? Plushie model? Plushie model. Thank you for redeeming plush. Yes, the plush also has a gun. Also, we gotta add the pig. I was gonna say pumpkin, and then I realized, wait, wrong one. Bacon. Speaking of bacon here, folks, the pig model, on the other hand, if you put exclamation point KOFI, you could find the pig on the coffee page. And guess what? It's absolutely free, no charge at all. you can pick up this pig model for no cost. And if it does charge you, you let me know and I'll move it somewhere that doesn't charge. I was going to drag this pumpkin down a little bit more. There we go, perfect. Okay, let me see. Also, Poison Ash, welcome on in. How you be? I hope you're having a good day there, buddy. Love Demolition Man? Same. Also, good to see you there, Big Mama Witch. How you be? I hope you're having a good day. I hope things are going well. Let me catch up with a lot of the reading, because I missed a lot of stuff. Okay. Since I was just full on that rant to Demolition Man. Not easier, just more annoying. Fair. There are trade-offs that keep it just about equally difficult. Language police are part of it. Very, very true. Verbal morality status. Yeah. Demolition Man? Yeah. Reminds me of Clone High Season 2, where the frozen clones from the early 2000s can't say certain normalized phrases, like in the modern 2000 or 2020 era. Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. Now that I think about it, wasn't there a ton? Yeah, I think it was around the early 90s to late 90s to early 2000s where I think that was the time where people were the most verbally free. You could say anything. Granted, it was not always the best of words, but you were still basically free to say any words. For better and for worse. Now we're at a point where we're just kind of... Actually, now that I think about it, we're at a point where it's kind of going backwards. In a way. Not with the exact same words, but just with words in general. Because there was times where you can say certain words and you would even get fines or even arrested or like some sort of lawsuit stuff for saying certain words. Granted, this was only like media-wise. Like if you were in the media or if you were, you know, making a show or a movie or stuff like that, that is when you couldn't say those things. But in any other regular everyday sort of thing, yeah, you could say whatever you wanted for better and for worse, and as mentioned before. But then when the early 2000s popped up, you know, they started being a lot more lenient with that. They started just saying, you know what, we don't care, say whatever you like. Even on TV, like, you know what, go ahead, drop the F-bomb. Okay, maybe not that far. They didn't go that far. Like, I think the F-bomb was still one of those words where it was like, yeah, no, you can only say that on cable. You can only say that on cable or in movies. Outside of that, like, not yet. We aren't at that time. Although, to be fair, I don't think we're ever going to get to that time. Especially since, you know, like I said, now we've gotten to a point where, when it comes to media, you definitely got a lot of things that cannot be said. Alright, let's see. You're out of toilet paper. He doesn't know how to use the seashells. I like that they never explained that part. See, this is what I was talking about before when it comes to certain things in TV or like TV, movies, or media, or any sort of stuff like that, where there are certain mysteries where they should never answer that question. And the 3 shells in Demolition Man is a good example of an explanation that should never be given. And if they ever choose to bring back Demolition Man to this modern era, which I think would be funny because we're living in that era, never answer the question of what the 3 seashells do. Never. If anyone here does movie production, I doubt it, but you never know. If anyone here ever does movie production, and you decide, I want to bring back Demolition Man, I just want you to know something. The 3 seashells is a great joke. Don't kill it by explaining what they're for. Just leave them where they are. They never have to be answered. It's like Wilson's face. It should never be answered. It was also like Barney's job from How I Met Your Mother. That question should have never been revealed. That question should have been left as a mystery and nothing else. Alright, let's see. Yeah, he gets tricked for everything. Wait, who gets tricked for everything? Who are we talking about? Okay, let's see. Simon Phoenix was up for parole, and he been cryo trained how to break out. Oh, gotcha. Right. Sandra Bullock, Benjamin Bratt, Wesley Snipes, Dennis Leary. I only recognize the name Sandra Bullock and Wesley Snipes, because that was Blade. That's the only Blade that I need to know about. John Spartan. Oh yeah, that's what his name was. Gotcha. Okay, let me see. Let me try to catch up with some reading right quick. The 3 seashells. Indeed, the 3 seashells. 187 I also hate that line. I know that's supposed to be satire. I know it's a joke that in the future they call it murder, death, kill. But just hearing it every time, like, I know what they're doing and it's working very well, but still, It's like how we have the word on live now, like, YouTube, please, can we just call it murder? Is there something so wrong about murder? Wait, don't answer that question. All right, let's get that eraser. Let's go to this brush tool. Let's add that smudge, or let's add that blend. Also get the smudge tool. Just blend that in a little bit. Just drag it up and down, up and down. Let's get our eraser and erase this section. Do not worry, folks. We'll try to catch up with the reading eventually. We'll catch up to all of it sooner or later. I arrived at the right time. Fantastic. What's the time? I thought it was an hour, Lampy made. Nah. It's only 30 minutes. And now it's 60k channel points for the next time. Okay, midichlorians in Star Wars was one that should have never had been given. Yeah, that too, midichlorians. It should have just been the Force. Like, what is the Force? An overarching entity out there. Gives people power? Leads them astray? Well, not leads them astray. That's the dark side of the Force. I mean, well, technically, yeah, it's still the Force. Leads them astray, brings them back, leads them to their end if they go a little too far. All that sort of stuff. The Force giveth and the Force taketh away. It's literally it's basically a visible god. That's what it, or, not a, well, technically visible god. I mean, it's not an actual, again, it's an entity. It should have just been that. You want flames or just holding the flamethrower? That is a good question. I gotta ask you this. Do you want to draw fire? If you don't want to draw fire, then just the flamethrower is just fine. Like, just the flamethrower itself is fine. But yeah, midichlorians. Going back to that. Midichlorians, that should have just been... That midichlorians should have never existed. That was a mistake. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Going back to the prequels, or not the prequels, the sequels, going back to the sequels, Rey's parents should have just been nobodies. I was actually, okay, though I wasn't fine with a lot of things that the sequel movies did, I would have been okay with Rey just being some random person, no legacy attached to them. Could have just been that. Could have just been like, who is this person? I don't know. They just... one of the many people in tune with the Force. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. But nope, they decided to make her a Palpatine of all things. Ugh. Okay, I'm done ranting about things that I don't like. Let's rant about some things that I do like. Let's go back to talking about King of the Hill. I like King of the Hill. What was I gonna rant on about with King of the Hill, though? I think I mentioned it before. Well, actually, yeah, let me think about that one for a minute. I'll come back to that later. Let me catch up with the reading here. Okay, but I like power scaling, so analyzing Jedis by their midichlorians is a valid method more than the Force. Yo, fair, fair, fair. Okay, thank God that was a joke, because I'm looking at that like, while reading that, I was already thinking, okay, I know they're going to say joke somewhere at this point, because ain't no way. Ain't no way. I will also say, sometimes, okay, I understand the point of power scaling, and I understand the intrigue behind it. But good lord, power scaling ruins everything. It ruins so many problems. Like, you just can't enjoy a series without someone saying, okay, I understand, but who's stronger? It's like, oh no, here we go. Mothman? Mothman. Thank you for redeeming Mothman. Hold on a minute, let me add that there. I don't know, I think I'm just in a very tired state, and whenever I'm tired, I just rant about things. I just criticize stuff. Or I just complain. Maybe it's because, maybe I'm just complaining, like, indirectly, just looking at it like, you know what I need? I need to go to bed. Alright, let's add the thing. Mothman. There's no need to feel down, I said Mothman. Lift that man off the ground, I said Mothman. 'Cause you're in a new town and there's folks to be abducted. Thank you for redeeming Mothman. Alright, let's drop this Mothman somewhere. Speaking of which, if you like this Mothman, you can find it available on the Etsy page and the vgen page for a very affordable price. It's only a mere 10 bucks to get yourself a Mothman that has multiple things. He's got he's got 3 different wing toggles. He's got regular Mothman form, original depiction of Mothman form, the bat one that I never understood where the bat one came from, but yeah, there was a bat Mothman form. And if you can't never, or if you're always indecisive and can never pick between the 3, why pick? Be not afraid. Oh, and last but not least, he also has lean. Again, one of those rare times where I saw the lean idea and realized, wait a minute, I could do something really dumb with that. I know exactly what I could do. So yeah, there you go. Alright, let's drop all of those. Let's bring Mothman back down over here. We can also drop Mothman, what's the word I'm looking for? We can also drop the wings if we wanted to as well. So yeah, pick up a Mothman of your very own today. No pressure though. Okay, let me see. Alec Guinness, Ben Kenobi had the best description of the Force in Star Wars. The Force is an energy field made by us, flows through us, binds us together. Fair. Need? Fair. Also fair. Well, if you ever needed a Mothman, you can go check out the Etsy page right over here. There we go. And all that good stuff. Okay. Let me see. What else was I talking about? Oh, right. We were talking about the Force stuff. Saudi Arabia? Yeah. That was one of the craziest arcs in King of the Hill. Or not craziest arcs, but that was one of the craziest things to come out of King of the Hill was that they moved to Saudi Arabia for Hank's job. They left for several years. They apparently... I was going to say they came back... Well, Hank came back as a different person, in all honesty. Like, again, the whole soccer thing, I was not prepared for that, but I like the fact that they made a whole episode of Hank just, wanting... What's the word I'm looking for? It just made it... Oh, actually, you know what? I take it back. I just realized what this series is all about. This new season is just Hank trying to find a way to kill time without being a couch potato. I think that's both Hank and Peggy. They're both trying to find a way to not be couch potatoes, even though they've retired. They can do whatever they want. But of course, classic Hank, or yeah, in classic Hank fashion, he just he can't actually accept retirement. And I think that part's hilarious. The prediction of balance of the Force. Oh, let's see. The prediction of balance of the Force. Then the Sith insisting on keeping their numbers. One teacher and one student only. Hello. Clue by 4 Jedi. They went to have... Okay, I don't get it. Alright, let me see. My brain is too fried to understand. Anyway, so going back to it. Speaking of balance of the Force. I don't know how to feel about this one. Because, on one hand, George Lucas says that, you know, the Jedi Council were not corrupted. That it was just that the Sith really knew how to outmaneuver them. But I don't know, when you look at the prequel series, I don't know, they seem pretty corrupted. Like, when you think about it, Mace Windu had too, like a lot of the Jedi had too much pride in themselves to believe that the Sith were actually doing things that would actually be a problem to them. Because again, especially in the first movie, Qui-Gon being one of the very few telling them, yeah, we got a Sith problem. The rest of the council, like, what? That's not possible. The Sith haven't been around for years, generations, decades, centuries. There's no Sith. Like, that's impossible. Or at least that's what I remember from the movies. And I also remember a lot of people bringing up that, you know, maybe Anakin wouldn't have fell so far if... what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe Anakin wouldn't have fell so far if Windu wasn't such a wet nap with him. Yo, Dragdon, welcome on in. How you be? I hope you're having a good day there, friend. Alright, let's see. Mr. Moth, why do you have a gun? Who did it? I always have a gun. I mean, if I don't have a gun on stream, you know something's wrong. And I hope you're having a good day. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, what'd you think of Boomhauer in his stepdad arc? I keep forgetting. You know what's funny? I keep forgetting that Boomhauer's doing that. Which is... Okay. I keep forgetting Boomhauer's doing that, which is crazy to think about, because, you know, in the original series, or, you know, in the earlier seasons, Boomhauer's an absolute horn dog. He's a womanizer. He is just, he's a playboy. No, it's a different word. For lack of better terms, he's an F-boy. There you go, that's the word. So, yeah. It's crazy to think about that, you know, you know, Boomhauer finally settled. I know they hinted at one of those things happening once in one of the later seasons before this new revival came around. I'm not even going to call it a new series, because it's just a revival of the series when you really think about it, because it still says episode or season 14, and it's still the original cast, the original series. Okay, not the original cast, but still the original series. Although now that I'm looking back on this episode, or looking back on the series, I'm realizing, yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't there no more, and I understand why they're not there. Luann and Lucky aren't there for obvious reasons, obvious and tragic reasons. Buck ain't there. Yeah, Buck Strickland ain't there as far as I know. Although I will say, I'm glad that they still have... Well, of course, they still have to have the voice actor for Buck Strickland there. He's also the voice actor for Bill. But I'm glad that they've also given him other roles. Like, they've given him other characters. So he may not have Buck Strickland, but there are still other characters, and he's still got Bill. Bill is a mess. I mean, they brought him back to status quo, but at the same time, they brought him back to status quo. Yeah, freaking Bill. But yeah, it shows that these characters have grown. Again, going back to Bobby, like, Bobby's a good example of a character that's grown. Like, he's definitely matured over his time. And it shows that despite what Hank thinks, he raised the boy right. He taught him the value of $1. He taught him the value of business. Unfortunately, unfortunately, Bobby also got Hank's, what's it called? Lack of business savvy or lack of sales savvy. Like, they both can get easily conned by the right salesman. Not even by the right salesman. They can get easily conned by salesmen. Like, father like son. Like, going to a... what's the word I'm looking for? Like, father like son, going to a car dealership ends in disaster for them. The only thing that I've learned from this show is that never send a hill to a car dealership. Unless you yourself are the owner of said car dealership, then send a hill to a car dealership. Also, let me see. Hydrate, thank you for the hydrate. The Jedi Council were pretty dumb to miss that strategy. So, them knowing the prophecy was the second biggest problem after midichlorians in the prequel movies. Yeah. I still like the prequel movies for what they are, though. Don't get me wrong. They were fun. And watching Anakin grow from Little Orphan Annie to Darth Vader is still not gonna be a spectacle to behold. Like, it's still not gonna be something I'm not gonna watch. What's the word I'm looking for? It's still gonna be something that I'm gonna watch multiple times in my life. That, and again, the prequels, though there's a lot of criticism behind the prequels, and a lot of the mistakes that they made within the prequels, they made some very iconic characters. Darth Maul, giving or fleshing out Palpatine the right way. They made Yoda. Yeah, they made Yoda pretty cool. Jango Fett, Mace Windu, General Grievous, Count Dooku. I'm pretty sure there's some other one. Amidala or Padme, whichever one you want to pick. Jar Jar. I mean, the theories on Jar Jar, like that was one of the funniest things I ever seen. Like, it is a dumb theory, but I absolutely love the theory that Jar Jar Binks is actually the evil mastermind pulling the strings behind the scenes. Like, he's the real Sith Emperor. Again, it's a dumb theory. And it's a dumb theory that people are, like, subscribe to, for the lack of a better term. They are adamant on that dumb theory, and I love it. Okay, let's see. Jar Jar Binks is a secret Sith. Yeah, that one. See, Dragdon mentioned it right there. That's the one thing I think I know. Okay, so again, it's a theory. It's not a strong theory, but people really want to believe in that theory, and you know what? I don't blame them. It's a fun theory. If I'm correct, there's actually been some movies and even some games where they're like, you know what? People really like this theory. Is there any water behind it? Barely any. Like, it is. That theory is parched of water. It's not holding a lot of it. But it's a fun one, and people really like it. So you know what? Let's appeal to that. I think they had a Lego Star Wars series, and they were adding Jar Jar as one of the villains. Like Darth Jar Jar in particular. I think they had a Darth Jar Jar skin in Fortnite. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% certain, but I believe there was a Darth Jar Jar skin in Fortnite. Oh, so let's drag this rat down a little bit further. Let's drag this pig down a little bit further. Perfect. Let's see. I mean, he ain't perfect, but he is putting an effort in... Oh, he is putting an effort. At least the kid doesn't lament him as does... Oh, let's see. At least the kid doesn't lament him as he does seek validation. True. That again, going back to King of the Hill and the Boomhauer thing. Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard, a lot of kids usually don't like the step parents because, you know, it's not the real parents, or sometimes the step parents are abusive or stuff like that, or neglective, or all sorts of other words. And then you have the ones that are trying, but the kid still doesn't like them because, you know, again, it's not the real dad or the real mom or real guardian of some kind. And so it's an unfortunate circumstance. And in this show, you know, Boomhauer's trying. And the kid shows appreciation for that. So that's pretty cool to see. Again, that's what I like about this show. They got some very wholesome moments. Again, the dynamic between Bobby and Hank, the dynamic between Dale and Joseph. I still feel bad for John Redcorn, but again, someone also brought this up, like, you feel bad for John Redcorn at first until you realize he has other kids out there. Why isn't he putting in as much effort with those other kids, huh? Why is it just Joseph? Like, I remember there was an episode where apparently Joseph found someone that, or, you know, was dating someone. And it turns out it was another one of John Redcorn's kids. And John Redcorn had to do he had to follow the path of a certain JoJo villain and try to break them up without breaking them up. Granted, it didn't end in the same result, because I think they just kind of drifted away, and John Redcorn, you know, just kind of accept that he couldn't do anything about it, whether they stood together or drifted away. There's nothing he could really do or say, because then everything gets outed. But hey, at least Joseph didn't die like one of the characters. Well, anyway, going back to it, at least it didn't end like how it did in frickin' the JoJo series. I'm not gonna say which part, but y'all know. You know which part. If you're a fan of JoJo, you know which part I'm talking about. If you're not, that's okay too. I adore the dumb theory. As one should. Sometimes there are dumb theories that are just too fun to, you know, criticize. And Jar Jar's is one of those. I mean, granted, there might be some people that criticize it, but I personally look at this theory and think it's too fun to really take too seriously. If that makes any sense. Like, it's not one of those things where you want to, you know, correct and say, no, that can't be how it works. Obviously, this and that and here and there. Like, obviously, we know this and that and here and there, but, come on, Darth Jar Jar. We get so much out of this. Also, show of hands. Who else is out here that looks at Jar Jar Binks and think this wasn't as bad as I first remember it being? Even then, I don't even think that I hated Jar Jar back then. I think maybe that's why I was still in the camp wondering, like, wait, why did people hate the prequels? Like, I know why people hated the prequels. I was there for that, but I still didn't understand it back in those days, but that's also because, I don't know, I was okay with them. With the exception of Attack of the Clones. I thought it was boring back then, but that's also because I was a kid, and Attack of the Clones was a lot more politics than anything else. And I don't mean politics like the politics that you hear nowadays. I mean, it was more, you know, in-story political stuff. Like, in-world type of politics. You know, it was between their councils and the Trade Federation and the Jedi and the Sith and all that other red tape in the background that they can't really say or do anything, and then the big old war. So the list went on, and that's what I mean by, you know, it's very, like, the second movie was very political. And so maybe it was because of all that red tape, or all that red tape and all that bureaucracy and all that movie murder mystery stuff going on in that movie, plus the shambled love story between Anakin and Padme, that maybe I saw that one and thought, this is kind of, nothing's going on. It's kind of boring. There we go. Yoda's flipping. That's all that matters. All right, Yoda's doing the flips. Now we're back on track. And then the movie's over. Like, oh, okay. Okay, let me try to catch up with some things. Thank you for the posture check there, Dragon. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let me try to catch up with some readings right quick. Okay, confirmed Darth Jar Jar is in Fortnite. Nice. I know it's drier than a desert that... Oh, I know it's drier than a desert that's over 2,000 degrees. Wait, which one is drier than... Oh, yeah, the Jar Jar theory? Yeah, it's drier than a desert. You're right. Regardless, just can't not enjoy a good Darth Jar Jar idea. Can't confirm Darth Jar Jar in Fortnite. Okay, John Redcorn pulled a Diavolo. Yeah, sure. Wait, no. We cannot make a King Crimson joke about John Redcorn. I just realized that. No. I never hated Jar Jar to begin with. Also fair. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, okay, I understand why people were annoyed with him, but I never really had that problem. But, yeah, I feel like the Jar Jar hate back in those days was really blown out of proportion. But then again, things were a lot more cruel back in the day. Again, the amount of hate that people got just for playing a character. I mean, granted, we still have that problem today, so maybe it's not as... Maybe it still hasn't gotten any better. I will say it again, or I said it before and I will say it again. Hate the character all you want. Hate the character. But don't hate the actor for playing said character. Hate the actor for a different reason, but don't hate the actor just because you didn't like the character. That is my best way to put it. Like, if you hated the character and you don't like the actor because you hated the character, something's wrong. You could completely hate both for two different reasons, but don't hate an actor just for playing a character you didn't like. Alright. Hate them for something else. Alright, let's see. I never hated Jar Jar, and the person who did his performance should not have gotten death threats. Agreed, exactly. Misa no seeing the bada thing about the Jar Jar. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see? Okay, I know there was some criticisms about Jar Jar being something else, but we're not going to get into that one. Star Wars was always goofy because older fans demanded everything to be serious. Which is also funny because they completely forgot that the earlier movie... Okay, the first movie was pretty goofy. The second movie... Even the third movie. I mean, let's not forget how they killed off Boba Fett. Or supposedly killed off Boba Fett in the third movie. Although, when you think about how they killed... Jabba the Hutt, I start to realize, or yeah, I don't know about anyone else, but now that I'm thinking about how they killed Jabba the Hutt, that's actually pretty brutal. Of course, he too himself was a pretty brutal character, so yeah. I mean, there's no sympathy for him, but at the same time, yeah, that's a pretty rough death when you really think about it. For those of you that have been living under a rock for ages, The way Jabba the Hutt was killed in the Star Wars movies was that Princess Leia took the chain that she was chained with, wrapped it around his neck, and just strangled him to death. So again, yeah, that's pretty brutal. But then again, Jabba the Hutt also had slaves, so yeah, he had it coming. He was also murdered by one of his slaves, so yeah, he had it coming. But yeah, going back to it, yeah, Boba Fett. How did he go again? I'm trying to remember how to. Okay, I know how he went. He fell into a giant worm pit, but that's not the goofy part. The goofy part about how Boba Fett supposedly died, or was, taken out of the picture, was that he got bumped into by a blind man. Han Solo was still blind, bumped into Boba Fett's backpack or jetpack, accidentally activated it, it went off, and it just launched him into one of the other, it launched him into one of those floating sky palaces or desert palaces. He crashed into the wall, hit the ground, started rolling, and fell into the pit. If that ain't goofy, I don't know what is. Although I do like how Star Wars had a mix of goofy and serious, because everything was goofy, everything was funny, until Darth Vader shows up. Once Darth Vader shows up, yeah, all the fun and games, they're over. They're done. Except when it comes to the memes. The memes straight up just, the memes, they become an entirely different story. Also, EB, welcome on in. Let's give a shout out to EB. Go check out the EB demon. Also, Fallen, thank you for the hydrate, or thank you for the save. That's the word. We also got to give a shout out to Fallen as well. First, shout out to EB. Go check them out. They do artin. They play a good variety of games. Really awesome stuff. You think there's a difference with Disney being acceptable to kids and being made for kids? That is an interesting question. George Lucas always prioritized for kids, even in the original trilogy. Honestly, I could see that. Again, you didn't have to be old enough to know what was being said. You just had to enjoy the spectacle and the starships. Also, folks, go check out Fallen. We're currently working on a big project for them. So, look forward to that. That one's going to be a while, but yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. Lampy, you have something special in your Discord DMs. Is it the rendering? Is it ready? Oh my god, that is actually... Hold on a minute. That's actually phenomenal. Hold on a minute. Gotta snag that image. I'm gonna try to remember how thinking works. Where is it? There it is. Folks, you gotta see this. This looks absolutely amazing. Did I give a shout out to Fallen? Yes, I did. Okay. So, Sherbert just finished this piece. They just sent it to me, and you gotta check it out. This looks absolutely amazing. I was not expecting the whole background, because they showed me the sketch, then they showed me the line art, and then they showed me the base color for everything. I had no clue about everything else. Also, this is the first time me seeing the rendering too, so this is absolutely amazing. Thank you there, Sherbert. I greatly appreciate that. Let's give a shout out to Sherbert one more time. Again, Sherbert does art. Really awesome stuff. They also play a good variety of games. Very chill times over there. All right, let's see. Let's try to catch up some things. All right. Okay, there was a Yoda versus R2-D2 in the original. Yes. And, okay, so here's the funniest part about the Yoda versus R2-D2 over a flashlight. If you look at the prequels... Okay, it was goofy enough before, but if you watch the prequels and then you watch the original series all over again, knowing full well who Yoda is and why he's there, just becomes 10 times more goofy. Like, this is the head of the Jedi Council. This was their top Jedi, Yoda. And here he is in a swamp. Wait, before we bring that part up, let me really paint the picture for you. Head of the Jedi Council, Jedi Master, General in the Clone Wars, Master to one of the toughest Sith or Dark Jedis / Sith Lords in said war. Like, literally taught Count Dooku how to fight, how to become a Jedi. Fought multiple Sith Lords in his time. And here he is, in a swamp, fighting with a droid over a flashlight. The Jedi have seen better days, I can certainly tell you that. So this is why I say, like, it's a goofy scene on its own, but when you look back on the history and you look at the sequel or the prequels and you come back to this scene, you realize it was far goofier than it was originally portrayed. Swallowed by the Sarlacc. Yeah, that's the one. Alright, Darth Vader be like, call an ambulance, but not for me. Yeah, exactly. That's why Darth Vader was the best character in that series, and maybe one of the best villains in the history of cinema. Alright, Lampy. Yo, Fallen. How things be? I hope things are good. Not entirely goofy, but I like Darth Vader always aura farms in every confrontation from the Star Wars properties, like in the games and smaller shows. Yeah, I will still say his best moment is either A, in the comics, or B, in... I will still say his best moment is either in the comics or it's in, what's it called? What's that one movie? Rogue One. Because okay. Disney may have messed up with every other character in the Star Wars series. Every other legacy character in Star Wars, they may have messed that up. In these other movies, they may have messed that up. They even messed up the Death Star. But what they didn't mess up was Darth Vader. Because when they showed Darth Vader, they understood the assignment. This is the boogeyman of the galaxy. He shows up, everything, like... things get dark real fast. Things get bad real quick. There is no hee-hee-ha-ha. You want to try to make a hee-hee-ha-ha. While Darth Vader's there, he's snapping your neck. Or he's choking you out. And not in the fun way. No, he's gonna kill you. And again, like I said, the best moment was in Rogue One, where the doors are locked, the lights go out, everything gets dark, and all you hear in the distance as they pan into that dark, shadowy corridor is the sound of his breathing apparatus. And then you know things get real bad when the red glow pops up and you see that man in the shadows. Not that man, that monster, that machine starts walking towards everybody. They have blasters, they have blasters, and none of it is doing anything. They're being launched around like rag dolls. They're being sliced up like nobody's business. He came walking down that hallway like Jason freaking Voorhees. That was the best Star Wars. I don't care what anyone says. To me personally, that was the best Star Wars scene I have ever seen, and it's surprisingly in one of the side movies. I still hate the dumb idea about the Death Star's main flaw being deliberately made, because that was a dumb, deliberately made flaw. But the Darth Vader scene, if there was a scale between 1 to 10 how good that scene was, I'm giving it a 12. Never gonna forget that scene. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, absolutely. Like it. Liking it is an understatement. This thing looks phenomenal. This is absolutely stupendous right here. All right. The flames seem to have bodies and arms. Even better. Alright, let's see. Also, ad start in a minute. Yoda was the best teacher of preteen Padawans. He isn't good at dealing with people more mature than he is. My headcanon. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, maybe. I was gonna say, like, I mean, what was his? I mean, his apprentice did turn to the dark side, so yeah, maybe. Can we acknowledge that said droid was also around alongside Yoda sometimes during the Clone Wars? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that they got their memories wiped. I keep forgetting that R2-D2 and C-3PO have been there from the beginning. And they were there to the very end. And they don't even remember it because they got their memories wiped. Poor 3PO. That dude just wanted to translate. And what happened? He became a god on a forest. Oh, right, that part. I completely forgot. Like, yeah, see, so there's a perfect example right there. Like, C-3PO is a prime example of how goofy Star Wars can get. You could have serious moments with Darth Vader and the rest of the Sith, and then you have C-3PO. Goofiest of all the characters there. All right, let's see. Okay, time for bed. All right, let's see. Okay, bedtime for me. Have a great rest of the stream. All right there, Sherbert. Thank you for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. You go get that sleep. You go get that rest, and I hope you have a good day, a better tomorrow, and a great week. You take care of now there, friend. All right, let me see. Don't forget, both Yoda and R2 knew each other. Technically, R2 forgot about Yoda. Not by choice, but again, because of the memory wipe, I don't think R2-D2 knew who Yoda was. I have seen all the Star Wars because it's my dad's favorite, but I can't remember any of it. Also fair, also fair. I mean, understandably so, like, Star Wars is it's a long movie franchise. There's a lot of Star Wars movies. And there's also... Well, not also, but what's the other word I'm looking for? It's a long movie franchise. Not only that, but it's also the fact that some of those movies are like, what, 3 hours long? 2 hours long? It's a long movie. I mean, I know there's some movies out there that are around 3 hours nowadays, so the whole 3 hour long movie thing isn't as strong of a statement as it once was. But this was back in the day when movies were 90 minutes long. Hour and a half. That's all you really needed for a movie. And then you had Star Wars that went on forever. Alright, let's see. R2 had his memory wiped, sadly. Yeah, that indeed he did. I'm just chilling with doing... just chilling while doing art. Ah, sounds good, sounds good. I hope the art is going well. I hope it's good. Or I hope the art is going good. That's what I mean. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for what I recall, here in C-3PO's actor was kind of a jerk, and R2's behind the scene. Oh, two R2's behind the scene. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel bad about that thought, but I also wouldn't be surprised, because, again, knowing how, knowing the situation with the Power Rangers, I could imagine that, you know, movie actor plays a really good role, so you admire that actor until you find out how the actor really is, and then it's like, oh, never meet your heroes, because sometimes it turns out they suck. This is why also at the same time, what's the word I'm looking for? This is also why there's a lot of streamers that I watch, a lot of VTubers that I watch. I don't like their content. I like their streams. I never want to meet them. Like, if there's a streamer, like, I'm pretty sure, like, if anyone ever asked me the question, like, out of any of those streamers that you're a fan of, or Oshis, if you will, I guess is the word. Like, if you could ever meet your Oshi, which one would you meet? I'm like, never. Like, I don't know that one. No, I mean, I'd never want to meet them. I want to be on this side of the glass. I don't want to go, I don't want to find out that they're a jerkwad or a wet nap or something like that, or expired mustard. I would not want to find that out. I want to leave it where it is. You stay over there. I never have to know anything about you other than what you've shown on TV. All right, let's see. I'd forgotten how much I hate space travel. Memory wipes seems the only way to forget that. True, fair. It's also interesting that any Jedi who does survive a Darth Vader confrontation, Luke, Cal Kestis, and Ezra, lose being their goofy personality, and also incorporate savage takedowns similar to Vader. Yeah, I mean, again, Vader's one heck of a villain. He might be one of the best villains in just media in general. I mean, it's for certain that he's one of the most well-known villains. He's up there with the Joker. And who else is there? I'm pretty sure there's some other... Oh, Lex Luthor. And Frieza. And sometimes when you think about it, the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Anyway, going back to it, the main point being is Darth Vader's up there. If not at the top. Like, if he's not at the peak, I don't know. Again, like I said, if he's not at the peak, it's probably the Joker. But since the Joker's been getting a lot of fall off because they overuse him, I want to say in this day and age, it might be Darth Vader. Because again, every time they use Darth Vader, they don't miss. He's the one. He's the guy. He's the chosen one. Not even the chosen one. It's just more so that whenever they put Darth Vader in a scene, you know it's gonna get bad. And I like that. The music's still going? It is not. Hold on a minute. Let's bring that back. Alright, let's see. Pretty much? Yeah. Also, in that case, where does Ahsoka fall into that? Oh, true, true. Wait. Yeah, Ahsoka did fight Darth Vader. I remember. Let's see, she was already kind of stoic by the time Star Wars Rebels came around. Okay, funny story, I did not watch a lot of Star Wars Rebels. Or the Clone Wars cartoon series. Although I've heard a lot of good things about the Star Wars cartoon series. Or the Clone Wars. I heard a lot of good things about the Clone Wars, but I had not watched it. The only thing I know about the Clone Wars is that Palpatine had Maul crying like a baby. I don't know how to feel about that one. Like, I keep thinking about that one, like, wait, hold on a minute. Like, of all the things for you, do Darth Maul. This is honestly the dirtiest one. Like, chop him in half, make him lose to Obi-Wan multiple times. But you have him begging mercy to Palpatine, or begging for mercy from Palpatine. I don't know, this is a little much. Like, what are you doing? You're massacring my boy here. Like, in the most literal sense possible. They look at what they've done. They done massacred my boy. Alright, let me see. Also, can we acknowledge that Vader trained the very person that framed Ahsoka for a crime that they committed? Also fair? Let's see. Ahsoka falls under the Obi-Wan category of want to believe Anakin is alive, but Vader really killed him. True. I also keep forgetting about that part. I don't know. I always keep seeing that part about, like, the whole Anakin and Vader being two completely different, or technically being symbolically different characters, but I don't know. I could never really buy into that idea, because, again, you know, one and the same person. Me, personally, I'm always looking at, like, I don't know. I can never really, you know, differentiate the two. Because, again, it all started because Anakin just wanted that power. He wanted to save people, but he didn't. He wanted to save people, but in the wrong ways. He fell down the wrong road. He fell down the wrong path. So whenever I'm looking at it, like, I know, again, it's symbolic, but I can never really buy into the idea of that's not Anakin anymore. That's just Vader. Like, potato, potato. In most defense, Palpatine did massacre his brother. Also true. Also true. He did whoop both of them. Yeah, he did whoop them both in the same fight. And killed his brother in that same fight. Still. I don't know. Like, it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me. Let's see. Text-to-speech is being my enemy right now. Fair, fair, fair. You could say it was a matter of perspective. Also true. Also true. Wait, are we talking about the Vader thing or the Maul thing? Which, yeah, which Sith Lord are we talking about here? Also, thank you for the hydrate there. The hydrate, the posture check, and the stretch there, senor. Yeah! Where's my water? There it is. Okay, funny enough, my eyes don't feel as heavy as they once were. Let's see. Well, at the very least, you aren't complaining about how Darth Maul was struggling against Ahsoka when she was still a Padawan. I mean, to be fair, Darth Maul was just as much of an apprentice. He was never really a... I mean, he was a Sith Lord, but... How do I put it? He lost to a Padawan Obi-Wan, so... It's not out of the realm of possibility when you really think about it. Yeah, see, there you go, what Mech said. When you really think about it, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because again, he himself was also an apprentice, he was also technically a trainee, and he also lost to a trainee, so him struggling against Ahsoka, who is a trainee, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Also, if I'm correct, wasn't Ahsoka being trained by Anakin? And wasn't he one of the big war generals at that time? Oh, and last but not least, one more argument for all of that. I will say this. Again, this is also Star Wars. This is the same story where someone who apparently had no chance of beating Anakin lopped off his remaining 3 limbs. Or lopped off his remaining organic limbs. Because again, when you look at the stories, you also see that, what's it called? When you look at the stories, you also realize that under any sort of circumstance, like if you look at it stat-wise, Obi-Wan should have had no chance against beating Anakin. But he did, somehow, miraculously. I forgot the explanations for it all, but yeah, long story short, he should not have won that fight. But there he is. Walking away while Anakin's getting barbecued. Well, actually, no, I take it back. Not barbecued. He's getting deep fried. So, I wouldn't really be complaining about who wins and who loses unless it's anyone beating Darth Vader that isn't Anakin or Palpatine. Or Obi-Wan. Or Yoda. Okay, look, if they're not a Jedi, I don't see them beating Vader. Or at least in the movies, anyway. The comics, from what I've learned, the comic can literally do anything. That's comic book logic. Doesn't matter how powerful or how OP a character's supposed to be. Literally anybody could beat them when it comes to comics. Again, if I'm correct, literally every character you can imagine in the Marvel series has beaten Thanos when it comes to the comics. Squirrel Girl has beaten Thanos in the comics. And the amount of times that Wolverine loses in the comics, again, case in point. Wolverine should be a character that should have no problem against most. But he'll lose to anybody. Same thing with Spider-Man. See, this is also why I don't really look into that whole... what was the word again? This is also why I don't really look too much into the idea of looking into stats and saying who's stronger, who's better. Because it doesn't matter how strong you are, if you're gonna lose in somebody's comic. Like, if you're in a comic, you could be an unbeatable god, an entity beyond the stars. You're gonna lose to a bunch of squirrels at some point in time. It's not even a matter of if, but when. Or you're gonna lose to some spider web. Granted, some pretty OP spider web, but still. Deep fried, he was marinated? Also true, he was marinated. He was marinated in his own hatred. Alright, let's see. She was the prodigy... Oh, she was the prodigy of the Jedi prodigy. Yeah, see, there you go. So, honestly, like, again, yeah, you know what? That makes a good point on that one about the Ahsoka thing. They were a prodigy being trained by the prodigy. The chosen one. Fighting Darth Maul, who had already had a bad track record against a Padawan. So, yeah. This is, again, why I also looked at it and thought, you know what? Don't bring Darth Maul back. When I was younger, I thought that was a cool idea. Looking at the execution, leave him where he is. You know what? This way he didn't get tarnished, but I know some people liked him for what he was in the Clone Wars, but I'm also looking at it like, I don't know about that one. Why do you have a barn emote? We don't talk about the barn emote. Welcome on in there, Blobby. How you be? I mean, gotta protect your nuts. Also true. Welcome on in there, Cam. Let's give a shout out to Cam. And let's give a shout out to Blobby. Go check out Cam the Corgi. Very chill streams over there. They they play the farming sims and all of that, and go check out Blobby. We're currently working on a animation for them. Big project going on over there. And they also work on a lot of things. They are currently in the middle of working on, well, not currently in the middle of it, but last thing they worked on was the Nerf gun assembly. Really awesome stuff. They got better quality Nerf gun. Okay, so Blobby, I don't think I talked about this one last time, but okay, after seeing your assembly stream with the Nerf guns, I now understand why you have to have those ones signed in, because the Nerf guns we have over here in the States, all plastic. Or at least the ones that I know of. Maybe there's higher quality Nerf guns, but the ones that I saw, they were like, you know, everything was plastic. Everything was this. Like, I did not see air pressure pump action Nerf gun before until seeing that video of yours. Also, welcome back there, DJ. True? Yeah. Now I understand why they had you fill out an application for those Nerf guns. Okay, let me try to catch up with some things. Reminds me of Rey being a Mary Sue, being able to go toe-to-toe with a trained Jedi Kylo Ren. Okay, Rey Palpatine is a different story. Rey got no training and was able to best Luke. What sort of nonsense is that? Had no training yet was able to fly the frickin'... What's that thing called? Had no training, but was able to fly the Millennium Falcon. Had no training, but was able to repel frickin' Jedi mind mumbo jumbo. And even counter it with their own. Again, no training, by the way. Again, at least with Anakin, Ahsoka, Luke, they had to train with somebody for a bit of time, and even when they got reckless, they paid for it. It turned out bad for them when they did. Jedi mind tricks? Yeah, that's the one. It didn't go well. Again, Anakin, he got too up in his own head thinking, old man with a red lightsaber? Pfft, I can take him. What happened? Loses his arm. Anakin, Yoda tells him, hold up a minute, you are fighting Darth Vader. You want to go out there. You haven't even finished your training. Yeah, but I gotta go. What happened? Lost his hand. Case in point. Again, I don't know too much about Ahsoka because I didn't watch the Clone Wars. But again, being trained by, what's his name? Anakin. During the Clone Wars. So, yeah, they at least got some training. Where's Rey's training? Where did Rey train? On a farm? Nah. You just called Luke Anakin? Wait, on which part? Because I was talking about, like, Ahsoka being trained by Anakin. Or did I say that did I say Anakin went to go fight Darth Vader? Which part was I talking about? Either way, both Luke and it, long story short, going back to it, to clarify, both Luke, both Anakin, even with their training, they still got mollywopped by a guy with a red lightsaber. With training, they still got mollywopped by a guy with a red lightsaber. And I'll be honest, this ain't even a gripe with Rey. This is just a gripe with the entire franchise. That entire, not franchise, but that entire sequel trilogy was just a mess. It sucked because, you know, the first part showed some promise. But they just executed that one so poorly. Those sequels are just... Ugh. Anyway, going back to it, let me see. From whatever calling rebels, he did face off against Obi-Wan with one final time before his demise. Wait, who did? Okay, let me see. True? Yeah. The Force? No, no, no. Plot armor. Sure. Yeah, see, exactly. Wait, which part about the Force and plot armor? The way she took on Skywalker name just felt like a slap to the face. The entire movie of Rise of the Skywalker was a slap to the face. I know what they were trying to do with Rise of the Skywalker, but good lord, did they execute that one poorly. I know Rise of the Skywalker was in response to the bad reception of what's that movie called? The Last Jedi? Because, you know, whoever was working on The Last Jedi just wanted to remove everything that was Star Wars related and just start fresh in a way. And since people really didn't like how they went about that one, they just kind of got rid of the first guy who made, or not the first guy, but they got rid of the second guy. They got rid of the guy who made or directed The Last Jedi, and they decided, okay, let's bring back the first guy. Let's bring back the guy who directed, what's it called? The first movie. Or not the first movie, but the first of the sequels. What was that first one called? Or what was the episode 7 called? I'm trying to remember right now. Episode 7. The Force Awakens? Yeah, that one. They brought back that person, and that person kind of had to try and clean up the mess that person number 2 brought in. But the way they did it was so horrible. Never bring back Palpatine. I've said this one 100 times before. It was not good when they did it in the comics. It's not good now. Because every time they bring back Palpatine, it just diminishes Anakin's legacy of being the chosen one and all that. Okay, when you were talking about Luke going up against Vader in The Empire Strikes Back. Oh, yeah. To be honest, they're both Skywalkers. Same thing. They're both Skywalkers, and they both lost their limbs to a red lightsaber. Yeah, same thing. Some people say that Harry Potter is just Star Wars with wands. I don't see it. Okay, personally, I think the people that say that Harry Potter is just Star Wars with wands is just... the only thing they see is popular nerd stuff. Because I'm really trying to think about this. And yeah, I kind of agree, I don't see it. Unless they want to go ahead and they want to go full on Star Wars and say, oh yeah, it turns out freaking Potter was a relative to Voldemort. Wait, that didn't happen, right? I haven't watched all of the movies. I only watched up to Prisoner of Azkaban, and then I was done. Not for the lack of interest. Well, actually, yeah, it was just a lack of interest. Now, not because of any reason. It was just like, okay, I've seen one movie. I think I've seen them all. I know I haven't seen them all because it turns out things get more intense as the movies go on. But I was just mostly like, I've seen enough Harry Potter movies for one lifetime. I'm good. Which is crazy because then I missed out on one of the biggest plot twists of all of that. But yeah. Going back to it. Yeah, it's, again, I think the only thing they really see is it's popular nerd thing, so must be, same difference. Either that, or maybe they just both saw, like, okay, so main character is both the chosen one, but at the same time, when you really think about it, a lot of series, you know, have the chosen one trope, so that's not really a special thing amongst those two. Again, King Arthur has the chosen one trope. Alright, let's try to catch up with something. Alright, let's see. In Star Wars Rebels, Darth Maul fought against Obi-Wan. Oh, yeah. Fair. The Force Awakens. Gotcha. Before Rise of the Skywalker was written, there was a story where Poe was getting to awaken Force capabilities. It was part of why he was shown as skilled as he was, which sucks because that actually sounded epic, and then they just threw all that out the window. Like, yeah, you know what? We don't need Poe to be cool. Come on. The sequel may have had their gripes, but it had two characters I really like, Poe Dameron and Babu Frick. Who's Babu Frick? Somehow Lampy Mayor has returned. Nah. That's next time. Also, speaking of which, let's go back to regular Moth model again. Apart from the similarities between the plot of Harry and Luke, I think it was... There isn't... Oh, yeah, let's see. I think there wasn't really any similarities. Yeah. Even then, I'm looking at the plot of Harry Potter and Luke Skywalker, like, even then, there wasn't really too strong of a similarity to said plot either. Again, like, when you really think about it, like the Chosen One trope, or something like that, not any other story could have the same thing. Some old wise guy trains both of them. Again, same thing could be said about King Arthur and the... Well, I was going to say King Arthur and the Holy Grail, wrong one. King Arthur and the Sword and the Stone. Because ain't it Merlin that, you know, sends him on his way, like, alright, you have to do this. Grab this sword, just yank it out of this rock. Like, that sword used to be your father's. Before the dark time. Before the Empire. And then Merlin realizes, like, oh, wait, sorry, Arthur, wrong movie. Wrong one. Thank you for the save, the hydrate, the posture check, and the stretch there, Destroyer, and I hope you have a good day. Good night. Yeah, better tomorrow. And a great week. You take care now there, friend. Babu Frick was a small goober who also memory wiped C-3PO, so he can read the Sith device. Oh. Fair. Okay, I would have said that Poe was a good character if... Wait, am I thinking of the right one? Wait. Poe is the guy who picked up the lightsaber, right? Poe is the guy who fought, what's his name, Kylo Ren in the snow? Or is that Finn? Wait, Finn's the pilot, right? Finn's the... Oh, Poe's the former stormtrooper, right? Or is that Finn? I'm trying to remember. Because I can't quite remember the names all too much. My brain is pretty fried today, so... Memories are not helping me today. Oh, speaking of memories, folks, tomorrow, Elden Ring, 2 p.m. PST. If you want to see the fight against Big General Guy, stop by tomorrow. It's going to be epic. Hope you've been taking care, Lamp. I've been trying. I've been working on getting my sleep schedule back up, because I haven't been able to stream because my sleep schedule has been a mess. So I've been trying to fix that again. I'm trying to stay up at later hours. That's also probably why I'm trying to draw at this time as well. Because, yeah. On the upside, I've been working on a lot of things. Like I said, I've been working on the video editing again, the animation some more, the live 2D models in the background. A lot of things are in the works. I forgot, I was talking to somebody, yeah, I was also talking to you folks about getting a 3D printer so I could start printing the little Lampy figurines and maybe other stuff. Maybe make a little Lampy container where he's a little trash can. So yeah, it's just been a lot going on. A lot of it good. The only bad thing is sleep has not been very successful. All right, let's see. Poe is the pilot. Oh. Then no, I was thinking of Finn. Like, there was a lot of potential with Finn. Poe, yeah, I guess Poe's okay. But nah, for me it was Finn. Like, Finn had such promise. Then they just didn't go down that road. Alright, let's see. Was missing comfy streams during work time. Also fair. Yeah, I've been trying to catch up on that again. I'm gonna try to work on that a little better this coming week. Like I said, I might not be able to pull it off as much as I would hope, but I'm gonna try. This usually happens a lot. Like, there are just certain days in the week, or yeah, there are just certain weeks in the month where sleep just becomes impossible at the right hours. So I just have to not stream during that time, stream during the morning, or work my butt off to fix that schedule as we go along. So yeah, eventually. It's 12:30 in the morning, and I'm just waiting for my speaker to charge so I can listen to Zac Brown Band on the swings. Fair. All right, let's see. Let's see, 3D printer? Yeah, I'm trying to get myself a 3D printer. Because I was mentioning it before that trying to get 3D printed figures is very costly. And because of that, some folks suggested getting a 3D printer of my own and just making it myself. And you know what? That's probably doable. That's probably doable. You have a figure made already. I have a friend who makes the files. Yeah, so funny enough, I also have a friend that makes the files, and they already made the 3D figure. I just need to talk to them about rigging said 3D figure as well. But yeah, they already sent me the 3D figure for me to work with. I just have to get it printed out now. And originally it was just supposed to be to have them printed out. But then it was too costly, and then someone suggested, wait, it was you that suggested like a certain shop. And I looked into that, and that also was too costly. It just turns out it's not so much that, you know, finding a good spot is, well, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just very difficult to get a good price on custom 3D prints. And that's when the suggestion came up of print it yourself. And so now I'm looking into that. I'm going to see, like, how much would it cost me to print everything out? And then sell it. I'm going to figure this out along the way. Let me see. Now, let's just add the last of the shadows here and there. And then I probably call it a night because I also can't think right now. Watch, the moment I say, like, yeah, I can't think, it's time to go to bed, it's time to go to sleep, as soon as I end the stream, like, I'm wide awake again, like, yep, there is nothing else for me to do, I need to go to bed. I hit end stream, like, you know what? Night rain for the next 30... Yeah, night rain for the next 8 hours sounds like a pretty good idea. I'm gonna try to not do that, but I feel like that's what my brain is leading up to. Yo, Yuriko, welcome on in. Moth? Where? Have a Warhammer session with only 3D printed lampies. Oh, that would be a pretty cool idea. Just make a whole Warhammer lampy set. I like the idea. I like that concept. That actually sounds pretty cool. All right, let's get this eraser, increase the size, erase that excess material down there. There we go, perfect. Oh, missed a spot. Get rid of all of that there. That should be good. Let us see. Let's add a little bit of lighting down here. Or not lighting, shadow. Let's add a little bit of shadow down here. Round that out a little bit. Boom, there we go. And to... what's the word I'm looking for? And to add an interesting little twist of events here, what we're going to do... Make a new layer. Oh, actually, let's just go... No, not that shadow layer. New layer there. Just put that. Get our brush. Increase the size of this thing significantly. And put it at 30% opacity. We're going to make sure our brush is at 0% sharpness. So it gives us a nice gradient. We're going to get our mouse clicker. And just have it hover right. Have the edge of the circle hit that edge of the truck line right there. Then we just click. One more time. And one more down here. That should be good. Next, what we need to do is get this lampy. Light him back up a bit. Or yeah, light him back up again. Because we lost too much lighting there. I want to bring those shadows back around. Like so. Bring those shadows back. Get the smudge tool. Put the smudge tool at 50% strength. Just drag this across. Get the eraser from here. Get that smudge some more. Oh yeah, let's also get the smudge tool and blend this in a bit. Blend this in a lot. Push the edges back a little bit. Get the smudge, or get the brush tool. Drag this all the way back down. Our smudge tool again, blend this in. How does that sound? Not gonna lie, that actually made me jump. Welcome on in there, Jesse Bunny, how you be? Thank you for the follow, I greatly appreciate it. Welcome to the Moth Crew, I hope you enjoy your stay. By the way, you're lamping now. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. But yeah, that's how you know I need sleep, when even the sound alerts are making me go like, what the? I need sleep. What else was I doing again? Oh, right. Let's get the eraser some more, because we need to add the lighting over here. You know what? I take it back. Here's how we're gonna handle all of this, because I'm wasting too much time on this part. Let's just delete all of that. Oh, right. I forgot. That's why I kept it. It wasn't even for the truck. Or it wasn't even for the shadows there, it was for the shadows here on this truck. That's why I kept all of that. Oh yeah, I definitely need sleep. Alright, let's add more of that eraser. Get rid of some of that, get rid of some of those shadows there. Get our smudge tool to really blend everything in. Put the smudge tool strength at 70 to really make it pull. Really make it stand out. There we go. Get this smudge tool, drag that across to give it a nice line right over there. Let's get the eraser. Make a little outline down here. Get that smudge tool, blend that in some more. Blur that outline a little bit. There we go. And yeah, you know what? Let's add some more outlines right over here. Add an outline at the bottom of this here cloak. All the way up to that point. We're not going to put a shadow there because it's being covered up by the counter a little bit. Let's get our smudge tool, blend all of this in again. Give it a nice smudge. Give it a nice blur. Go across like so. That should be good. So add some shadow or some highlights up top here. And a little more over here. Get that smudge, blend that in some more. Last but not least, let's go to the hood. Blend that in a little bit. Blend in some more over there. And that should be a-okay. Let's also add a reflected light underneath the hood. All the way up until that point. Get our smudge tool, blend that in some more. There we go. Now, last but not least, giant money bag. Let's get the eraser. Increase the size. Hit set eraser. And just clean up everything in the middle. Closer towards the top right. Or top left. No, yeah, no, it is top right. Closer towards the top right. So somewhere around here is where everything will start to, you know, cast a shadow and all that. Now that we got that section done, drop the size of the eraser a little bit more. Add that shadow around this area. Or not the shadow. Add the highlight around that area. There we go. Then we got our smudge tool and finish things off. Make it a small smudge. Blend that in. Actually, you know what? Let's put it at 30% again. Just blend in like so. Drag it across. Add some more blending on these edges. Just zigzag a little bit. And pull these edges out a bit more. Give it a nice shadow underneath the bag handle. Or at the bottom of the top of the bag. I don't know, words are difficult. Anyway, go over here. Blend that in a little bit more. I also just realized. Oh, right, that's because of the shadow. Got it. Okay, that should be fine then. Let's get our smudge tool, blend in that bottom. Blend in the top a little bit. Blend in more of the bottom. And just drag it towards the right side a little bit. And then last but not least, erase the top half over here, where the arm is. Get our smudge tool again. Shrink this down significantly. Just zigzag left to right over on this end. And we want to keep the integrity of this shape. So we're just going to lightly zigzag across. Not too strongly like we did earlier over here, where we just went left to right like nobody's business. This time it's just a little scratch, a little squiggle. That should be good. Okay. I don't sleep because I'm one of those people who are gifted enough to be able to function normally even after staying up all night. Also fair. I am personally not one of those people that function well at any hour. So I just gotta work at whatever hours I got. Let's get that eraser. Let's erase that section there and the bottom here. There we go. A little more over there and a little more over there. And then we take the rest of the... Then we just take our smudge tool and really blend that in. Zigzag left to right over on that section as well. Zigzag up and down, up and down. Zigzag left to right over on this side. And one more over here. Now let's zoom out. And yeah, the rendering's coming along pretty well. We're almost there. But it is about to be 11 in the morning, so let's save. We're going to call it here. We're going to call it a night. And we're going to find someone to raid. Because, yeah, it's actually gotten to the point where I literally cannot see right now. Like, it is difficult to focus. So that's telling me it's time to call it. This is the perfect time to leave it where it is. Let's see, who is on at this hour and who can we raid at this time? We got a good number of options of who we could raid. Folks, I will be back tomorrow to play some Elden Ring. We're going to go fight a general. I'm not going to explain much else past that point. If you want to see that general fight, it's going to be at 2 p.m. PST. So look forward to that. There's a lot of folks we could raid into right now. There's a whole lot of folks we could raid into right now. Hell yeah, what? I haven't gotten the chance to raid this person before. There's a lot of options. We're going to take this opportunity while we can. They are currently playing a detective game. They are a Ruby Dukamiya. We're going to drop you folks off over there. I believe they raided us once before, so we're just going to... Oh, I almost put the raid message in their chat. Whoops, wrong one. Anyway, thanks for the stream. Yeah, no problem. No, thank you for stopping by. Get some rest, bud. I will try. Probably not going to be very difficult. I feel like as soon as I end the stream, I'm just going to go pass out. So, we're going to drop you folks off with the Ruby. Here is the raid message. You're going to drop everything off over there. Oh, right. The raid message that we should have. I forgot about that part. Raid message. You know what? We're just going to go with regular raid message. Raid. There we go. That's our raid message. Use those emotes if you have them. Use whatever emotes you have if you don't. Just, wings up, guns up. That's our raid message right there. And thank you all for stopping by. If you would like to support the channel or if you would like to keep up with the channel, you can check out the link page right over here. It's got everything you need to know. It's got the socials. It's got the Twitters, the Blue Skies, the YouTubes. The YouTube's still under construction, but it's there. And if you want to help support the channel, one good way you can do so is by checking out the Etsy. We got Lampy plushies over there, as well as affordable models. We got free stuff on the coffee page. We got merch on the Teespring page. And if you or someone you know is looking for emotes, assets, character sheets, character concepts, animations, live 2D models, both big and small, just whether it be the rigs or the art, you can find all of that by either contacting me directly or going to the vgen page. We also have free or affordable models on the vgen page too. And with that being said, thank you all for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. Always remember, you're all awesome in your own way because you folks make these streams and this community what it is. It's awesome chatting with you folks, cracking jokes, and all that stuff. Also, lurking, you're great too. Never forget it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay, the charade's about to start. Show respect to Ruby, all that good stuff, and as well as their collab partner. And it's over.